This is Drink Talk, where we try to solve the world's problems one drink at a time. Each week in this podcast, the topics of today and tomorrow are discussed while we sample some of the finest libations known to man. Join us. We are your hosts, Brian and Britt.
Check us out.
All right, we are live here at the Barley Boys Brewery.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for hosting, guys. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
So, we are here with Amy and Jason from Barley Boys Brewery, and they were gracious enough to host and let us sample some of their beers today. We are live there in the brewery, so if you hear a little bit of an echo, that's from the...
We're in a garage.
They didn't soundproof before we came.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, so thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the brewery itself, and then
how did it get started?
Okay, so it started off as a science experiment back in the 70s.
Whoa, wait. Hang on. I thought you got... Oh, yeah, I saw that you were doing a comeback. So
yeah.
Wasn't that like right after they signed, homebrewing was possible at that point, right?
Right, and
Yeah.
I believe the 78 on that.
Something like that. Nixon did that?
Nixon, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve, the founder and brewmaster, he started off with a science experiment, and it was on fermentation.
Mm-hmm.
And he did very well, and I think the professor really liked the end result on that one.
Think he enjoyed himself?
Right, yeah. Let me have some more of that experiment.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
we're going to have to do some more sampling before you give the final results.
Yeah, and back in the day, from the stories I remember, it was all bottle conditioned, so a couple of them might be overprimed and remembers explosions, bottles exploding.
Oh, we've all had that. Yeah, in the early days.
Yeah. But no, where we come into part was, more or less early 90s. Steve kind of got back into the brewing scene and started off with extract kits and really kind of got into it. And Barley Boys came about in about 94, where he went into all grain. He was the president of Hops, which was a local homebrew club here, and Eds Red was born, which is what we're drinking.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, let's start with that.
Let's clinky to that.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Another cool little fact is this brewery was founded right in this very garage the first time around. So
Nice. Yes. When I say we are at the brewery, we are technically in your garage.
What am I tasting here?
Ooh, wow.
This is Eds Red. This is
Eds Red.
This is the flagship, so to speak. This is an amber ale, American amber.
It's got... I just don't know. I'm trying to get the flavor of it.
You can taste the maltiness in that.
That maltiness. That's probably what I'm tasting.
It's very caramel malt forward.
Oh, yeah.
British hops.
It's a lot darker of a red than I would normally see.
Right. Again, it's all malt basically, and then light hop finish.
What is your alcohol volume on this one?
This one's right about 5.5.
5.5. Nice.
Everything we try and make is very drinkable and smooth, and
It's one of the great words, drinkability.
yeah, absolutely.
You want a drinkability beer.
yes.
Yeah, because I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Nice. Very nice. And how many beers currently do you have?
Right now we have 7 that are R&D complete, ready for production. 4 of which are labeled, which we'll sample tonight.
Perfect.
And then more after, of course.
For those sticking around afterwards.
Yeah, right. We do have an IPA in formulation R&D right now. We're very skeptic of the style at first, and now I think we found our wheelhouse on that, and we just want to make it the best we can. So,
Are you brewing to style or are you brewing to flavor?
we really want to nail the style with the IPA, but if we're a little bit out of style, there's other IPAs that we love that are not technically true to style. So, I
make it your own.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
I want something that everybody can drink. So.
Right. But also something unique.
Exactly right.
Well, and isn't
that's the whole premise of the deal.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what craft beer is about.
Yeah, absolutely. And how long have you been? You specifically have been brewing for?
I started a year ago. It was about December 28th of 2016.
And so we would consider you, what, the head brewer on this one?
Basically,
The guy.
The guy. I'm the guru.
if I were to put a title to it, I would say Chief Brew Guy.
Perfect.
Chief, all right. The CBG.
Yeah.
The Chief Brew Guy. All right.
And Amy, what's your
Yeah, you need to speak
go
up
ahead?
Yeah,
here.
Because I
yeah.
mean, with Barley Boys, I would consider it was just a bunch of guys sitting around, but you've got a woman in the bunch here, which I
we've-
like that.
Yeah, we've actually got a few women in the bunch. There's me, and then my mom, and my stepmom as well. But my role will be chief people person. Is kind of what we're going to be going
you down with
into.
The
CPP?
facilitator.
That's right.
All
CPP,
right.
Yeah,
that's
you know
right.
me.
Nice. I like that. That's much better than the PR liaison. You
Yes.
know, that's a mouthful. The CPP. Yeah,
Right.
I'm the chief people person.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to go to the HR office, so
No,
Right.
but the chief people person office.
yeah, you know,
Right. Yeah.
might get a free haircut out of the deal.
Yeah.
Maybe a little back massage.
Yeah.
Whoa. Then you're actually going to HR.
I guess I go to see myself.
Nice. So what's where can we find you guys now? Like out in town, where would we find you, or where would we pick you up at? Just at the
Yes.
beer fest right now?
Right. So for right now, we don't have our ATF licensing currently. So that's kind of our next step is that we're going to be working on getting that licensing going.
I heard the ATF, those are a good bunch of guys. I mean, they're just so laid back,
Oh,
so
yeah.
easy to work with, right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Absolute best of bureaucracy here.
But I've been following you guys on Facebook, and you guys do brew days from time to time. And I'm able to just come here and drink some of your beer for free.
Every
Absolutely.
Sunday. Every
I
Sunday.
like it. I now know where to find free beer.
Yes, you do.
And now so does our listening audience.
That's right.
Exactly.
Of course, the biggest
400
part
people
about,
show up tomorrow.
yeah, the biggest part about that is I got to I have to say that we definitely promote responsible drinking and responsible driving. So,
Absolutely.
Hence the waters
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yep.
so don't come over expecting
to get
12 pack.
So you're crap faced. We'll just
Right.
say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Come over
I've coined a new term because there have been times where we've had a little bit too much on the podcast, and I end up staying at Britt's house till 2 a.m. drinking water. And I have coined the term now getting slippy because on the podcast, sometimes you get a little slippy with your words. So,
Okay.
at that point, you should probably drink more water.
Exactly.
So, but speaking of the brew days, so you put that out on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you have Twitter now also.
Yeah, working on it.
The,
I'm not-
the Twitter. The
Yeah,
Twitter.
the
I'm not-
Twitter.
That
You're-
tweet thing.
You've
not-
become a twit.
Yeah, I'm not a huge proponent on the tweeting.
I don't get it.
but-
I don't personally. I don't get it. I get it because we're as a team. We have to launch stuff and put stuff out there.
Right.
But as a physical person going on there, I'm like, what do I tweet? Like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
My personal Twitter, I haven't
Yep.
put one.
I mean, I
Tweet-
guess it's
tweet
kind of like
out there?
Facebook, but different.
It's a tweet. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
See, and for me, it's not different enough to bridge over to it
Sure.
from Facebook.
I actually I got my Twitter account because of the what's the Omaha Police Force one? The dang it, I can't remember the name of it right offhand.
no idea.
They have a Twitter account.
Mean Streets Omaha.
Thank you very
There
much.
you go.
Mean Streets Omaha. And if you go on Twitter and you like them and you follow them, you get updated reports as to what's going around in Omaha. So if you actually drive by something and you see like an accident or like 12 police cruisers on a car, you can hop on Mean Streets, not while you're driving, of course, responsible driving.
Absolutely.
But as a passenger, you can hop on Mean Streets and you can find out what's going on.
Oh, and it's wonderfully entertaining.
It
well.
is. It really is.
So,
Yep. I agree.
So on these brew days, how much are you guys actually brewing on these days? How many gallons are we going through here?
Not much. Tomorrow we'll do a big batch of our Pilsner because obviously that's our favorite and that's what we like to
And you
drink.
need more of it.
Yes. But typically we'll go through a 5 to 10 gallon batch.
You said you're experimenting right now with your IPA. So what are you experimenting? Like adding more hops, adding different flavors?
We originally put some Victory malt in there, and I think that tends to lead towards a very sweet forward note, which is not necessarily something I want to on the forefront, but I want kind of on the back end to cut the bitterness.
Sure.
We definitely have 5 different hops added during 7 different stages of the brewing process on that one. So
Sounds very intricate.
it is. I'm kind of putting my culinary skills to.
I was going to say, yeah, you were a chef in your former life, so that probably lends well to this craft.
I was, and yeah, so I'm really we're trying to achieve different notes throughout the whole drinking process of it, and I think that is ultimately going to lead to the success of the beer.
Nice.
Yeah, so what are the future plans then for you guys?
Get
it out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, get funded.
Absolutely.
Absolutely goal number 1. Which is it's in progress, obviously, so we can find a space, get licensed, get equipment set up, and bring this thing to distributorship, and hopefully soon have a tap room to follow.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of the wave. I think that not only doing the tap room, but what I see is a nice niche is actually doing food and tap room. So
Oh yeah, that keeps them there
like a
longer.
brew pub. But a lot of people are doing tap rooms.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of the food this time. I
was going to say, with the culinary background, I thought you'd be all over that.
Yeah, but I got to focus on my beer first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. That's a fair point.
The biggest thing with the food is the requirement of space, and then
Right.
not knowing.
Right.
Beer is easier to get out the door. So I think it's. And we'd like to highlight some of the other locals too, like the food trucks and
Absolutely.
Oh, that, yeah.
and definitely try and bring in more of the community on this deal than just ourselves. The craft brewing scene as a whole. Everybody plays well together. It's
Oh, yeah.
It's a community.
Absolutely.
It
Even though they're
is.
competition, I mean, it's
Right.
they're all helping each other out.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
You can
Well, I mean,
beg,
with the-
borrow, barter. Whatever you got to do, and ultimately you guys keep the doors open together.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago when we had Mitchell on the program from Nebraska Brewing Company, and just the market share of craft breweries comparatively is only like 12%.
Right.
12.3%.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's nothing. So
That's a fine brew.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. That's, that's a hefty brew. Yeah.
So I was seeing on your guys' Facebook page that you guys were out of town. Who went up there and was doing what?
Scottsdale.
So
Yeah,
my,
Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, so my mom and my younger brother, because we're all it's all in the family here. So this is with my dad, his current wife Karen, and then my younger brother John, and my mom, and then my brother Jason and I. But my mom and my younger brother went down to the Kadima Innovate Fair, or Kadima, I apologize. And it was a very exciting conference where we kind of ended up in one of the top companies to watch at the Kadima Fair. Yeah.
Needless to say, this was almost a tech conference, so to speak, a tech fair.
Investor fair. Kind of
Right,
thing.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, well, and I see the challenge coin that you guys have here. That's pretty cool. Then that's from that. Can you tell about that or talk about the coin?
I can't speak as well to that as Christy or John, but basically the story behind this coin was late enrollment, and John and Christy didn't receive one, but they had a very interested party that actually brought it to them.
So the investors received these coins at the fair, and they were able to give these coins to the company that they were most interested in.
Kind of like the prize, like your
Right,
first, second,
exactly.
third. Okay.
This is kind of like the highest honor that you could receive at that
Kind
fair.
of a
So.
Nice.
Nice job.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
every-
well done.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
How many investors were at this? Roughly, do you know?
500 or so.
And you had 50 companies, is what you were saying earlier, roughly. And so, out of the 50 companies, where were you approximately?
We ended up, I think, number 10 on the board.
Wow, that's
As,
great.
So-
as a newbie,
Yeah.
Top 10. I like it.
Yeah.
right?
Right out of the gate.
And you were saying, or there were no other breweries in that.
There were no other breweries,
Yeah.
and we were 10 in, like, hypothetical dollars invested. We were actually number 5 and most liked on their basically, yeah, it's a most liked page.
Okay,
It
nice.
is-
We do have some people off camera here. That,
Yes, we do.
Our viewing audience. This is our second viewing audience.
Second live audience
that
ever.
we've ever had. Yeah, so this is awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool. So then the investor that gave you the coin is saying, I find you guys
Very interesting.
I believe in you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
awesome. Well, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, and we got some exciting stuff in the works as a result of that. So we're really excited for what's to come from.
Well, and it probably helped that you guys were handing out free beer. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean,
It
Well, it doesn't hurt.
I
Only
would
in
definitely
2
give you a
ounce.
coin
It
if you're
does.
handing out free beer to me.
Yeah.
You can't serve home beer to the public in Nebraska anymore. In Arizona, they limit you to a 2-ounce pour. So it wasn't much, but in a
Still enough.
stuffed shirt tech kind of setting, I'm sure.
Well, the 2-ounce pour, that's kind of what you get at a beer fest anyway, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
little shot,
Yeah.
basic shot of beer, roughly.
Just enough to get a little taste.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
That little cute cup.
Thank you, stagehand.
May I have another, please?
A thing.
yeah. Here's your 2-ounce pour.
Exactly.
All right. Well, is there anything that you want us to know about your company right now that we haven't talked about at all? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean,
You're the people person.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds-
I mean, again,
I can't believe that you guys have been around for so long.
Yeah.
But you were back in the 70s. You kind of went away for a little bit, but then you came back.
Right. So we were officially established in 1994, and then we ran out of funding in 2001, and so we've kind of been dormant for a little while, but coming back to the scene because we believe that we have a product that people want and need. So
far, we're on our second beer, and the second beer is great.
the pregame.
What was the first one?
Belgian
it was
wheat.
Belgian white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. That was smooth.
It was a
Thank
good
you.
entry beer.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And just to add to what Amy said, like when the Eagles came back with the Hells Freezes Over concert, we didn't break up. We just took a 14-year vacation.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, you wanted to expand on your culinary expertise.
Yeah, right.
And
Exactly.
you're working with, mixtures and all that and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
refining your palate.
Yeah.
And you look at the, per capita sales from where we were at and where we're at now, and we being independent craft, it's hugely varied. We're back in '94, craft beer accounted for maybe 1% of the market.
Oh, yeah. It was
Right.
new.
Right.
Like, I would say craft beer really started in the 80s, but it really didn't take off until the 90s.
Right.
Right.
And even taking off was still pretty low market share.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And now to hold 12.3%, that's it took a long time to get there, but hopefully it keeps going up.
Well, you're going up against the big boys, the
Yeah.
big guns.
Yeah, and they're trying everything they can
Yeah.
to slow us down there.
Absolutely. But there is a big movement in craft beer to try to buy big beer back. So that's kind of the thing
Nice.
with
Well, and that-
with the Brewers Association.
Yeah, we talked about that 2 weeks ago, where there's a lot of the big boys are buying up the smaller ones and saying they're craft breweries, but they're not. Really,
Right.
Which is where the certified craft brewers,
Independent
Right.
craft
Yeah.
seal.
Thank you, independent
Yeah.
craft brewer label came in.
Yep.
So I look for that.
But another little fun fact is actually 99% of current operating breweries are craft breweries.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Things that make you go,
Right.
Because the big boys have multiple locations, but it's just like one.
Right. It's like a mass production facility where, there's just so many more small independent craft brewers that are
Wow.
operating currently.
99%
I know.
equals 12%. That's
I know.
crazy.
Isn't it though?
Just gives you an idea, a glimpse as to what the big boys actually produce comparatively.
Right.
I got 99 problems in a brewery.
Craft
brewery.
brewery.
Something like that.
Yeah, they spill more in a day than I'll produce in a year.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So what are some of the challenges that you guys are finding right now?
Definitely getting the word out. I mean,
Right.
just getting, ATF licensing is another challenge because they have some pretty strict requirements.
They just don't hand those out?
No,
I can't.
I know.
I
It's
can't
really
get it right where
surprising.
we're sitting right now, so that's
Yeah.
it's kind of a roadblock. But
Exactly.
Need an actual facility. And,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have your facility, your setup, all that before they'll even consider giving you an ATF license. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I'd looked into distilling, too, because I wanted to do that as a hobby. And in Nebraska, you can't do that as a hobby. Apparently, it's only backwoods, Alabama, that you can do that.
No, I don't think it's even legal there.
we have We have backwoods here too. So.
Yeah, we do. Yep. So, but yeah, they're the same way that you really have to have your own facility, and you can't even just like practice it. You have to have like a full distilling license just to be able to even do it.
You got to throw it all on the line before you can
Yeah.
even think
Yep.
about it.
Absolutely,
Go big or
yeah.
go home.
And I'm like, I make my own amaretto, and I was just doing it for fun. I don't,
Yeah.
I'd love to get away from just buying vodka and making my own.
Absolutely.
Well, and in Nebraska, in Omaha, Nebraska, we really only have one distillery or two distilleries.
So Brickway,
Yeah,
and then we
Brickway.
also have La Vista. We have the Soldier Valley Spirits.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Which you brought some for.
I did bring their blackberry. I do like sharing that because it's such a limited.
That'll be post tuck.
Yes,
Yeah.
post talk.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
Better keep up on my water.
Yeah. Well, some of your challenges kind of lead into what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
Getting the word out. We're going to be talking marketing here. So, as marketing today has really become kind of the modern day storytellers.
Yeah.
Really, I mean that's getting the word out on people and collecting the ideas of what you're wanting to accomplish as far as your product or your brand and telling a story and getting the word out. As a business, and we had talked briefly beforehand about what we use as a business, the obvious ones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Right.
People forget about LinkedIn unless they're like into corporate.
Right.
Everybody in corporate's on LinkedIn.
Yes,
right?
they are.
So.
I haven't updated my LinkedIn page for 5 years.
As
Maybe
an electrician,
three.
I don't even know that's a thing.
I think I
I-
created one, but beyond that, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
never
here as
created.
a person.
Yeah.
Right. And I do this.
But I know people that like live and die by LinkedIn. It's like accumulating baseball cards. Oh, I got to collect the whole set. I got to get everybody LinkedIn on.
no, not really.
Whatever. Yeah. But you guys are on Facebook and Twitter, but you're not on Instagram.
Not
correct?
yet, no.
So
Not yet.
it's an easy one to do.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that one, and you can post a lot of your pictures and all that. A lot of good things can come out of that free marketing.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's other ones, radio and all that. But as far as like the social media marketing and all that, it's free, easy. You reach the base. Really, even though they're saying Facebook is for old people now, you still got Twitter and Instagram and all that. Snapchat.
Oh, so you
I am one of those old people.
Yeah, me too.
You saw that video on Facebook where the girls will like, she's at a job interview, and this old guy's like, "How are you with Facebook?" And she laughed. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's for old people." I was like, well, "Wait a minute, no, it's still a good thing."
Wait a minute here.
But with Facebook, I'm finding challenges a little bit with Facebook because every time we make a post or do something live or anything via Drink Talk, it's like, hey, would you like to boost the post?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And if you boost the post, it's like, well, you could potentially reach 2,000 to 10,000 people. I'm like, well, that's a big gap. Is it 2 or is it 10? And they're like, well, maybe.
What
you
am
can
I
do
getting
this.
for my $10?
Exactly.
No, I'm sure that we have probably gained some viewership from that. I remember when we first started and we were boosting our posts a lot more. We were starting to get a lot of Latino women. I don't know if they drink a lot of beer or what was going on there.
Big
But
in the Latino community.
Yeah,
you
we've
know.
done the same thing, and it's I don't see the value in it at this
yeah,
point.
I mean, after we spent, I 40, 50, 60, $70 out of my pocket, and same with his pocket, we saw maybe, a climb of 50, 60 people,
Yeah.
and for that amount of money, it's like, whoa, no, this isn't worth it. So it's all kind of word of mouth.
Absolutely.
How are you guys? How are you guys gaining your business or getting the word out there? I like I said, you guys went to Arizona and you did this thing, but are you guys doing other things as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we do as much as we can. We, anytime I go out in public, I'm sporting my free advertising.
You're where?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
My free advertising gear here. But most of it's who you know, and we. We run deep, and Amy is the most sociable person you'll ever meet.
Oh yeah, Amy and I. That's how I ended up on the show. Was Amy?
Absolutely. That's how I ended up on the show.
Well, how I ended up here.
Yeah, no, and that's a great thing. No, and I'm hoping a small percentage that this helps out too. But
Yeah, hey, scratch your back,
Exactly.
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 You guys provide the free beer, and we'll provide the advertising for you guys.
I think that free beer just advertised itself, sir.
Gosh darn it. But no, we face challenges all the time. It's this beer brewery company that you have right now is a side project compared to your real job. I mean, you have something other than this going on.
Right. I got to keep a roof over that.
Exactly, because I mean, this isn't pulling in the money quite yet.
Right.
What I'm finding is that to take time out of my day in order to promote this show, I need to do that, in order to build my fan base and all that stuff. But it's troubling because, I mean, you put something out there, you spend a lot of time doing it and all that stuff, and then you get like 12 likes. You're like, oh, great, awesome.
Yeah.
And those are your friends that are, supporting
Your
you 100%.
followers.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Right.
So there's troubles there unless you go to like an ad agency and actually start paying somebody to do stuff for you.
And we have that.
Yeah.
In place.
Well, you guys were talking about the way you guys name your beer, and is that kind of what you were pointing out on the chart there? So how you name the beer, your marketing agency, and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it goes through our ad company.
Yeah, we use Bozell Marketing.
Okay. Nice. And is that a good relationship that you guys have with them? Or is it
Absolutely. And actually, they won an
Because
Addy.
if it was a bad one, you'd get out of it. Right?
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Time to go.
Right, but they actually won an Addy Award for our advertising package the first time around.
Cool.
Yeah, which I guess that's kind of like the highest honor you can get in the advertising world. So that was kind of a cool.
Our marketing guy David is he's pretty sharp. He's very punny guy.
Absolutely.
He's funny because he's punny.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly right.
Nice.
And they work for beer.
Hey, that's always good. If
Yeah.
you didn't hear that, they work for beer. So
Dig
excellent,
it.
nice. I like that. That's a good mix right there.
No,
It
to go
is.
back to your question, biggest thing right now is our brew days and bringing people in.
Yeah.
That's-
That's how you're spreading
We
the
get
word.
we get
Exactly.
neighbors walking by and they're like,
And I gotta
"Wow,
say,
we're
what the
heck
doing
is
this
going on there?"
here, and
Right.
you made this here in your garage. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when I pulled
Word
up
of
and
mouth.
parked my car, I just parked in your driveway. I didn't figure anything about it, But you have actually a sign that says brewery on your
Yeah.
garage. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. When it's lit up, it's time to drink. So
Yeah.
Right?
more the merrier.
When the lights are on, yeah. Come on in. That part of it, getting the word out and getting people here for your brew days and all that. I think that is a really cool way to do that. Since you're just on the ground floor. I'm all
Absolutely.
about ground floor stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
We haven't been going that long, so we enjoy the little guys. The small craft breweries. So.
And the more the merrier, like I said. But
Absolutely.
as long as I can keep my cleanliness and sanitation up to where.
Oh yeah.
You obviously see how OCD I am. But
Well, and you have to be,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
when it comes to cleanliness.
Well, we just 2 programs ago we had Nebraska Brewing Company on, and he was all like, don't get into brewing if you don't like to clean, just
Exactly.
because that's pretty much all it is.
90% of the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the rest of it is doing your measurements and calculations, which I just found out you kind of cheat on your calculations.
Oh yeah, Alexa's great.
Yeah, what was that all about? You just asked her and she's told you.
That was
Yeah.
super awesome. So for those beer nerds out there that don't know that, if you have an Amazon Echo or an Amazon Dot, you can totally get your brewing calculations done. I
Yeah,
had
it's like
no
an
idea.
app.
Oh,
It's like an app you download.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
it's
was
really-
what was the term you used?
It's a skill.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
the skill, but it was the specific gravity. What it was his the alcohol. The
Yeah,
ABV.
what did you ask her?
So I asked her to open what percentage is my beer. And,
There you go.
And she pops up and says, "What's your original gravity, or what's your specific gravity, and what's your final gravity?" And from there she'll calculate your final percentage.
That's great advertising.
Right.
Well, the best thing about
For
it is
Alexa, I
the
guess.
timers. Like I said, in the IPA, I have so many additions of hops at different stages. It's pretty big to have all that. I lay out all my timers right from the get go. right when I start my boil, and I hit where I want to be for my pre-boil gravity. And
Now, when you said set your timers, you're setting it through her?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's become
That is
like,
cool.
I hands-free say, hey, set 6 timers, one for 45 minutes, and on and down, and
That is so cool.
she does it, and I have all my stuff laid out. So, I start with my first edition of hops and end with my findings or whatever, the case may be. It's really quite a handy.
It's amazing what like technology can do, because you got the Amazon Dot, which are what, like $50, $60.
Yeah.
I think that was
nothing.
$40.
$40.
when we got it.
Yeah. So I mean, and you can have it do
And-
whatever you.
And I can jam out to tunes while I'm brewing
it's your
away.
own little brewing AI
It's
unit.
Yep.
pretty awesome. Best $40 ever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she can't sample the beer and tell you, "Hey, no, you need
Hey,
to do
you
that."
suck.
Right.
Well, let's move in. I mean, we've been talking about kind of as a business what we use for marketing and all that, but as consumers, it's so much more. There's so much more things that you can look at: radio, TV, movies. You could use as marketing. The internet as a whole.
Well, what you shouldn't do is get on your phone and search something, because then it's just going to be there forever.
Right.
Or at least for 2 weeks.
Oh, at
or
least.
or just show up at McDonald's, because then Google's going to ask you, how was your experience?
Bert was talking about,
Yeah,
was it
don't you wanna-
Taco Bell, that one that you had where you told a story about it, you were at some bar and it asked you to rate Taco Bell, and you're like, oh, it's like next door.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's a weird marketing thing that Google has, is when you go to a place, it will say, hey, rate this place, because you were there. Well, I go over to Andy and Sarah's house, or Andrew and Sarah's house,
Yeah.
and it's telling me there's a bar across the street from their house. And every time I go to their house, they're like, how was the beer? And I'm like,
Delicious.
delicious at their house, but I never went to the, Candlelight,
I'm
which
sorry,
is right
I'm-
next door.
Andy, you need to work on getting me to tag your location here.
Exactly.
I'm not going to rate the service on my colonoscopy. I'm sorry.
Right? Exactly.
Or like even, I mean, it's funny because like it'll even capture if you just drive by a place, because there's a Jiffy Lube right by the Med Center, and every time when I'm driving home,
Yeah.
it'll say, rate your experience at Jiffy Lube.
If you spend longer than 2 minutes, which you could do that at a stoplight.
Easily
Right,
at Saddle
absolutely.
Creek.
Yeah.
I never get that on my phone.
Stop tracking me.
But
I think
also
you can turn that off.
Yeah, I've
can.
turned a
You
lot of
can.
those settings off, so I never get those little ad-based marketing things.
Well, I just found something on my phone last Sunday. And if you go into Google, like you've got it right on the front of your phone, you press the little microphone button and you say, dogs, and it goes into Google. And if you go into the settings of that, I was able to go back to 2011.
Wow.
And it had every search that I've done. It had every text message that I did. Now, when I clicked the text message thing, it went to my text messages.
Yeah.
It didn't go to that one of that day. But if I'm the administrator of Google, I'm pretty darn sure that they could have seen, oh, you used Facebook 7 times that day. It probably had the searches on there of what I did. And I was like, it had a delete. And I said, delete.
Please delete.
All time.
That's a little
Everything.
too big brother for me.
Well,
Right.
that they're gathering so much data on us right now
Oh yeah.
that they're
Where are they
able to
storing
Oh,
pinpoint advertising on it.
Do you know
Oh,
how many
yeah.
billions of dollars they're spending on server farms?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know one just opened
Iowa.
Council Bluffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Facebook's coming down the road here, down Highway 50.
That's
Yep.
where they're storing them.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
Big
cloud.
data centers.
The cloud. That's where they're storing
That's
it.
so scary.
I know.
Right.
But it was just so weird to see all of my history, and I could just scroll through each month, whatever I did, each day of each month that I did, and it was so weird that they had everything. Any app that I used on my phone, they had access to.
Wow.
And text messaging is an app.
Yeah. Well,
It's an
and that-
SMM app.
Yeah.
That's where all the the people that are doing marketing, they're using the analytics of how you use your phone and what sites you're visiting. They're using all that to
Make their
better-
marketing more effective.
absolutely.
Another thing that just disturbs the heck out of me is I was looking for health insurance a year ago,
Yeah.
and it's all like, hey, type your phone number or email address into this bar to find the best prices in your area. I'm like, cool, yeah, no problem. Within 5 minutes, I had 9 phone calls. I'm like, wait a minute here.
Wow.
This is not what I was going for. And they continued to call for like 2-3 months. And finally, I just started to answer those. I was ignoring them for a long time, but finally I started answering them. I'm like, take me off your call list. Like, I don't need healthcare anymore. That was 2 months ago, and I was just looking, and I went with the healthcare through my company. So, like,
So I could avoid these headaches.
Right.
exactly. It was just that's the downside of marketing is and advertising is, you know, you could put it in people's faces and it's not fun.
Well,
No.
right,
Last
right.
weekend, speaking of kind of tracking you and all this, last weekend we had a
That's what they do, though. They do.
Oh,
They track
absolutely.
you. They track every movie you do.
last weekend I had a little party that I went to, and one of the gals there that I know professionally, she had said, "Oh, hey, I checked out your podcast, and it was on the factory farming episode." She's a vegan, and she wanted to check out the factory farming episode.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, cool. What'd you think? Did we do it justice on it?" She was like, "Yeah, you could tell you guys were very, very, not wanting to do the topic because it's such a horrible topic, and trying to interject humor and all that stuff." And I was like, "Well, cool. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that."
Yeah.
Well, on the way to the party, I was listening to Bluetooth, which I usually do. You know, just stream music to my car or whatever. Well, I get in my car, and our factory farming episode pops up on the radio, and I'm like,
Weird.
I wasn't listening to our podcast beforehand. I wasn't. I
were
was listening
literally-
to music, but
you were just talking to her about it.
just talked to her about it. Phone's in the pocket. You know, I didn't even access my phone. I didn't look it up on my phone. I didn't do any. I didn't touch my phone. Just got in the car. It auto connected, and factory farming came up, and I went,
Seems like a little more than a coincidence, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it
They're
does.
out there.
"Yeah,
Well, they already tell us that, you can say, if my phone is in the page mode, I can say, "Okay, Google," and it goes bling, and it goes, "What do you want to search?" So your microphone is actively on all the time.
same with
With
this
the
one here,
Alexa,
yeah.
exactly. And that's
Exactly.
exactly why I don't have it, because I'm just it's just a little too big brotherish for me.
And
yet.
that little red button that turns off the microphone, that really turns it off, right?
Yeah,
No,
right.
right,
no,
right.
Not at all. It lights up though.
Yeah, it just makes her stop listening
Yeah.
to her name.
Look, I lit up a red light. I'm not listening. Wink. Wink.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what are all
Pay
those
no attention to the
SUVs
man
doing
behind-
outside?
Yeah.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But yeah, advertising and marketing has gotten to a point where you can almost think about it, and then you open up whatever app. We'll just go with Facebook because that's the most popular one right now, and it's there. You're like, what? No, I was just thinking about that, and I
Well-
don't get how they can do that to you.
Right.
I think part of that's AI.
guerrilla advertising.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, actually, that's kind of what we have some friends in the tech industry, and that's kind of what happened to Yahoo. I mean, y'all remember Yahoo, right?
Oh, well, sort of.
Yeah.
Most of us probably had a Yahoo
They're-
email at one
They're
point.
still
Oh, yeah.
here in town.
They-
They have a headquarters here.
They
in town.
are, but they're not. They realize that they can't compete with
Google.
for
Yeah.
a search engine. So they
They
said,
do.
okay, how do we retool this?
Right.
They now specialized in targeted marketing, where all they do is they track your movements and they target market you, and that is what Yahoo does. And
Yeah.
so that all these things like Facebook and all that, they probably partner with a subsidiary of Yahoo and just target market.
Well,
you.
wasn't it? It was a couple of years ago where this girl started researching something, and Google knew she was pregnant before she knew she
It was
was
Target.
pregnant.
It was Target.
Yeah.
Target.
Yeah,
That's it.
Target. She was buying items. She was
Yep.
buying stuff at Target, and Target knew.
Yeah, that's what it
because the dad was saw the mail about pregnancy and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
so he approached Target like, "My daughter is not pregnant. You need to stop sending her stuff." And they're like, this is the analytics. The algorithms. They're
she bought this at the
Yeah.
store, and so
and
no,
sure
she
enough,
is pregnant.
Sure enough, she was pregnant.
Crazy,
I will not buy Hershey's at Target.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but back to like what we consume on everything. All
Yeah.
the movie.
Well, back to consuming. I think
Oh,
we need
yeah, we
to
need-
consume another beer.
That
That's
was
what we
a
need to
nice
do.
little segue, Britt. Well done, well done. So now we're starting to get a little darker into this. So
Yeah.
let's, should we go a little darker?
That's what
Sure.
I'm thinking.
We absolutely can. We had pre-selected 4 beers for you, but
you're the one showcasing.
You know, we can go. Let's try the brown ale.
Yeah, the beers are behind you, so it looks like you're pouring. Where'd our poor guy go?
He's skimping out on his job.
He's inside watching.
John, where'd you go?
Yeah. Right, he is the younger brother, so you know.
That is, yeah.
Nice. Go before we start getting into it a little bit, but like the movies and the TV and you can say them, even TV shows.
Yeah,
it's like marketing because they are. There is product placement on it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look at the Super Bowl.
John, we were just talking about you, buddy.
That's why I came in here.
Yeah.
They probably
we needed new beers, and we're like, hey, where'd our poor guy go?
MIA.
I missed my opportunity.
Oh, it's all right. No worries. Stay lovey.
The watching movies and TVs and all that, they basically telling us how to think, how to feel, and this is the way what you should wear and all that. And I'm going to throw out a little movie quote for you and see how good you are. This is our pop culture portion of the program. And so the quote is, advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy stuff we don't need. Do you know what movie? It wasn't stuff, but yeah, we try not to curse on the program here. So do you know? I'll say it again. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy stuff that we don't need. If I said the name of who said it, I bet you would get it.
Probably.
Tyler Durden.
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good movie quote.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, it's all crap.
And an excellent movie.
What? Yes. Well, actually, no. That was Brad Pitt that said that. It was when it was at the beginnings when they were doing the actual Fight Club in the basement there, and he was they had gotten big, and so that was his little spiel to the people for Fight Club. But we shouldn't talk about that because rule number 1 about Fight Club is
don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah. So.
And buy our soap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, buy our soap. Yeah. Selling rich women's fat back to them. Yeah.
Right.
That was awesome. When we ended the program last week, I had given a little preview of why we came up with this talk, and I was out. We had one of our daughters had a birthday party where they went to a movie, and the other one we were just kind of hanging out with, and we went to buy earrings with her, and I'm looking through the earrings, being a good dad, and I noticed out of the corner of my eye one of the earrings, and I'm like, is that? And sure enough it was a rainbow colored poop emoji. And I'm like, what? There is a poop emoji earrings, and here's a pink poop emoji earring, and here is a glitter poop emoji earring, and here's a rainbow one. And I'm like, they are literally selling you crap.
Yeah, I was at Shopko, and the Shopko store out by us was closing down, so they were discounting everything, and we're like, hey, it's 40% or 50% now. Let's go check it out. And right in the checkout, they had a poop emoji speaker. I'm like, that's got to be a crap speaker.
Well, speaking of stuff that's not crap, let's talk about this portion of the podcast brought to you by the Brown Ale.
The Brown Ale.
Is there a name to this Brown Ale?
Yes and no.
How now, Brown Cow?
There's no seeing through this at all. I'm putting it up to the light. I can't even look through this.
Yeah, this is like a porter. I mean
it's a dark brown
stout. Yeah,
this is more of a Northern English style.
Got a good smell to it.
It's pretty robust for a brown.
Okay.
Right about 6.3.
Oh, but so smooth.
Guys.
Yeah, Amy, you're still drinking on the. You're still drinking on it.
Slow drinker. It's all right.
Well, I'm a lot smaller than you guys.
Yeah, we know.
That's okay. Drink responsibly.
Ooh.
That's right.
Again, malt forward.
I was going to say it's a
husband's
lot
driving,
like
so.
the red, but I consider this a little bit smoother than the red.
I'm going to be with Britt on that one. To me, the red was a bit more flavorful. This one's more smooth. Both drinkable.
Yes.
Got the drinkability. But yeah, the maltiness is a little bit.
It's not as harsh on this one as the other one.
I would say the maltiness is more forward on the red and more in the back on this one.
Yeah, and as far as my hop additions, it should be the other way around, you would think, but for some reason...
Well, the maltiness, not the hop, the maltiness.
Right.
Yes.
It's just... I like it.
Yeah, I dig it.
Brown ale's my favorite.
And that's that is a very dark brown ale. It's a brown ale with a suntan.
Yes.
Right there.
You know, I used to be totally against these dark ales. And Brian kind of brought me around and started showing me more and more. Everyone bases it off of Guinness, because that's what you do. You're like, Guinness is the go-to,
Dark,
and
yeah.
that's the dark one.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, yeah, Guinness is good, but there's so many more other dark beers out there that are just awesome,
Well, and
I got to give a quick shout out to Christine. She ended up getting the reference to Fight Club there,
Nice.
Oh, hey-oh.
and she said his name is Robert Paulson.
Mm.
Yes, this one has a name. His name
It's
is
Robert Paulson.
Yes.
Dig it.
Yep.
the
Well
great
played.
the great
Well
thing
played.
about
Yes. Well played, Christine. Well played.
the two beers that we've had so far, the amber and the brown ale, are both made with the same yeast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it. What kind of hops are you using?
This one is Chinook.
You said now when you were talking locally sourced, are you trying, because there's a lot more locally sourced hops here available in Nebraska. Are you trying to do that?
I would love to. Right now, I'm trying to stick with everything that I can to be as
Consistent.
Stay local, my friends.
uniform and consistent as possible.
Okay.
Now, are you growing any hops?
No, not
Interesting.
currently.
I would have figured you would have tried to start that.
Yeah,
It's kind of tough in this city. You need some land. I
mean, you need
could
hype.
yeah.
we just lost a tree in our backyard, which
Hey.
So some land just opened up.
it did. Yeah, we do have some fresh real estate. However, it's about 3 years for the rhizomes to really take place and begin to develop what you're looking for in a hop as far as characteristics, terroir, just the absolute well-roundedness of the hop. I do love going down to the hop farms. It's
Just the smell of hops. I love it. That's my favorite part of brewing, is opening a new package of hops and just love it. I love it.
A lot of people say session beers, but I would say more typically, something we want to do during the spring or summer or fall, something that's locally on tap. I wouldn't mind using fresh local hops for. In fact, I more than welcome it. But
Oh yeah, because then they don't have to do the pellet forms and freeze it and all. You can get as fresh a hop like literally. It's like, hey Tim, could you bring over a batch? I need to brew in.
yeah, if I could
Right.
get a pound every week for my IPA, I'd be golden.
Yeah.
But, that's unfortunate that's not possible at this point.
Well, and that's one of those business models. Like it's like distilling alcohol. It's like, how long do you Okay, I have this plan. I want to start a business. I'm not going to have any revenue for at least 5 years.
Right.
It's like, who does those kind of business models?
I'm
That's
going to
crazy.
give you a loan.
Yeah, just like with the hops, like you said, the maturation on those is 3 years. It's like, okay, yeah, we're going to start a hop farm. We're not going to see revenue for 3 years, but we want to start a hop farm. So you have to be a farmer first, and then say, oh, this field is now going to be hops, and I've got other revenue until that creates revenue.
Absolutely.
And we've spent quite a bit of time with Ann down at the hop yard and Annette, and they're very good people. They're down to earth, and they're offering us hops to try and use just specifically for a beer for them. Unfortunately, of course, we can't sell
'Cause you're
it and
such a-
distribute it. And
Right.
right.
And you're a small enough operation where you kind of have to be selective as to what you're brewing. And
Right, but we
Absolutely.
can more easily design a beer around, say a specific hop that is native to Nebraska and native to our roots that, we might feel better connection to than, say, somebody in Colorado or Oregon, where they have more than enough hops that they know what to do with.
yeah, Oregon.
Yeah.
all those Oregon hops.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, we just took a trip up to Oregon. It is amazing how many brewers are out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody brews a good batch out there. So they do it right.
So as far as
we're getting there. We're getting there.
yeah, it's coming, and they're putting out great hops. I mean, I love spending time out there, and we're volunteering next year to help with the harvest and everything.
Well, I'd say 5 years ago, they didn't really have anybody doing hops here in Nebraska.
No, and they recently last year they found a wild hop strain, a male and a female plant, so they're both of the same genetics. So we've now
Like true, not transplanted. Like these are true Nebraska hops.
in 2
Wow.
years
That's
we will
crazy.
have a true Nebraska wild hop.
Not something
Dig
that
it.
hey, we got the seed
dig
from
it.
Oregon, we planted it here and it actually took. This is going to be
That's
Right.
yeah.
that's going to be a beer for sure.
Well, that's kind of along the lines of like the vineyards here in Nebraska. We can create grapes that will last a Nebraska winter.
Oh.
Are they good? Well, they're getting better. I mean, there's actually some pretty decent Nebraska wines, but we just don't have the climate for a lot of.
The soil is not as conducive,
which is odd
Yeah.
because we're an agricultural state.
right. But it's different type. It's aridity. There's a whole lot of different chemical imbalances and balances that are going on in the soil. That
Well, I'd equate that to barrel aging something, because I've been getting into aging whiskeys and creating flavors, and then bourbons, and then I aged my amaretto with the bourbon barrel, and kind of like our soil here, probably a lot of the same. You get some unique characteristics from the soil here in Nebraska that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
right,
Absolutely.
irons and clay. It's all going to play a big part, and depends on where you're at.
Yeah,
geographically.
sand hills versus the
Right.
southern. You get the clay, and Midwest or the mid of the state, you get all the big agricultural land.
It's going to vary 100 feet from peak to valley. So
Oh, sure.
And even if it's the same, strain, it's just, the differences in soil will make a big difference in the taste of the hop.
So
It's
I
really
guess
interesting.
what's running through my mind is when California actually falls off the coast, because they will one of these days
become their own island.
Become their own island.
They're jealous of Hawaii, really.
Because of the ground faulting and all that stuff. They're just going to get thrown out in the ocean to hang out with Hawaii. And
Alaska can come too.
so then we have all those grapes and vineyards and all that stuff that go that way. So does like Nevada now become the new grape state?
beachfront.
Well,
property.
actually,
That's a good
we're kind
question.
of seeing
Yeah,
it right
because
now.
they're getting a lot of their flavor from their grapes because of the ocean and the winds
Well,
and the
look,
breeze.
look what's
Cool.
happening now. I mean, we just a couple of weeks ago we talked about or what was it, 3 weeks ago? We talked about the mudslides and the fires going on down there. So they're,
Yeah, they're going out the door.
yeah. And if they didn't actually get burned up, then they're having a lot of smoke damage. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
you got a smoky grape now. So hopefully you like smoky wine.
Right.
Yeah, and,
This is charred
it's like-
charred barrel
Yeah,
grapes.
it'd be like a peated Scotch. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a peated wine.
and going through, going through culinary school, we took a sommelier's class, and they say it's all about the terroir, which means it's all about the soil, and it's the same exact thing with hops.
Well, you're starting at the root.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Nice.
You're being told to stop. You're bouncing there. You're getting a little nervous. So
Sorry.
somebody on the listening or on the watching
Oh,
program here,
my bad.
they saying you're getting a little nervous here.
Yeah, it's-
Nothing to be
it's-
nervous about.
No, I'm not nervous.
Which
It's
is-
just not something in my comfort wheel,
We're
Yeah.
on your turf. We should be the ones that are nervous, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
You have home court advantage here.
Well, I'm not worried about the quality of the beer. If that's where you're coming from there.
Well, let's get back to the talk a little bit on marketing. I wanted to get into kind of more of the darker side on that, or some of the
Yeah.
weird stuff, and like medicine commercials.
Yeah. So what's up with the small fine print?
Well,
How come it has to be so small?
Hey,
May
Right.
lead to
what
heart
are-
attack or death.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know what comedian said it best, but they were like, but that prescription comes with a dog and a puppy.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like a
because-
cute dog and a hot wife or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I have that.
Yeah, no. Make you think that you have it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
One gets me. What's the average commercial? 20 seconds? 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
What's
yeah.
the average medicine commercial? 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Are
And
Like,
then they
you-
go through the risks of the medication, like
which
Are
is
you
longer
losing
than the
hair?
actual commercial. It's like, hey, we have this thing. It can solve cardiac arrest.
Do you feel tired all the time?
it's almost
Do
like
you
they
feel like a human anymore?
but it's almost like they hire auctioneers or something because they go through those so fast.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh, right there at the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
different voice.
Yeah.
Well, and I understand why they go through those, because we're in such a sue-happy nation that they have to
Absolutely.
put every one of those, which is crazy because you're not buying the product off the commercial.
Right.
You have to go to a doctor who should be the one explaining what these conditions are.
That or your
So,
pharmacist.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's not a 1-800 number where you can buy directly from the
You can't go straight to the source.
No, absolutely not. So I don't understand why they have to have a commercial that is 3/4 all the side effects.
I think because we came up in that WebMD.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You know, everybody's dying of cancer, but we just don't know it
Well,
yet.
I'm
Right.
no doctor,
It's-
but I did say at a Holiday Inn Express.
This is a pill to cure diarrhea. One of the side effects is you may have diarrhea. It's like what?
well, that's like
that a thing?
the depression ones. That's what gets me the depression medication.
Right.
Like one of the side effects is you may kill yourself. I'm like,
Wait a minute.
That's-
We're trying to avoid that.
Right. That would be why I'm taking this medicine.
a side effect of depression medication is suicidal thoughts. What? Are you kidding?
This medicine may help you stop smoking,
Yeah.
or you may kill yourself.
But either way,
if
you'll
the
quit
smoking
smoking.
doesn't first.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. There's a another one that I wanted to talk about, and I don't know how avid of like talk radio listeners we have here, and I don't want to get too deep into it as to who these people are, but anybody that listens to talk radio here in Nebraska knows who I'm talking about because there's only one real station.
Yeah, here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but they
TNT.
so they have this commercial on for carpet cleaning, and they say $99 3-room special or whatever. Well, the crazy thing is, if you really listen to that commercial, they say starting at $99.
Right.
And I know people that have actually used them, and they're like, they actually have a water disposal fee for these people. So by the time your $99 3-room thing, it's like $250. And
Are they trucking in their own water?
it's ionized water, so they can't just dispose of it, apparently.
Right. When they
Interesting.
get back to their shop, they just pour it down the drain.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it goes in a holding tank.
my
for a
drain's
week.
better than your drain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, some of the other ones. Remember the old school cigarette commercials?
Joe
You know,
the Camel.
Oh, yeah. Joe Camel.
And that was one of my more specific ones. Like Camel was like 4 out of 5 doctors
But
prefer
see-
Camel.
With that,
As
But
if
there was a
smoking's
day.
good
There
for
was
you.
a day where the doctors and nurses sat in the hallways smoking with sick patients all over the place.
Well, they would prescribe smoking to pregnant women to calm their nerves.
you
Yep.
could smoke on a plane.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
What
Oh, yeah.
happened to those
What?
days?
right.
I flew to Germany for the military once, and that was the longest 9 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
9 hours. We went to Sweden. It was
We were in a
half.
we were in a
12?
commercial plane. He was not in a
Oh,
commercial.
true.
Right.
Very
Right.
true. All right. I see the difference there.
Yes, there is quite a difference.
Yeah.
Speaking of the military stuff, I was on an amphib, and I remember being in the on the bridge and in CIC, the Command Information Center, the captain's chair, and all the other chairs had little ashtrays in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, this is like, at the time, smoking had been banned for at least 20 years, which shows you how old those chairs were. On a ship that was commissioned, very recently. So, but they still have those chairs stockpiled apparently.
Those were
Relics.
Relics.
Well, and you used to see cigarette ads in magazines all the time.
the Marlboro Man.
Oh yeah.
Cools,
Yeah.
Cools was the biggest one I always heard about.
who died of cancer? Imagine that.
That's weird.
Weird.
A great movie. Thank You for Smoking.
Oh, yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't see those cigarette ads so much anymore.
Well, they got rid of them.
Right.
Now they've just
that what
replaced
it
them
is?
for sugar ads.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Try this cereal. Oh, try this crappy candy. You
Yeah,
know.
just another
No,
addiction.
I guess
Exactly.
the ad
Yeah.
that I never got was you started seeing these ads that smoking was bad for you,
Yeah.
and they were targeting like they would have like 80 people in the middle of a city, and then they just drop onto the floor, and then it's like, this is what dies every 10 minutes or something like that. Well, that ad was created by Marlboro or by the cigarette ad company. I'm like,
Against
this
the
doesn't make
other
any
company.
sense.
So, well,
Wow.
that's the thing. When they said that they can no longer advertise their product on TV, excuse me, they said that you can, but then you have to do the opposite. So we're actually seeing anti-smoking commercials that are funded by Big Tobacco. So it's kind of
It's
part
weird,
of the
yeah.
it's part of the whole advertising thing. But I don't get it. I don't know. it's weird. Oh yeah, there you go. Subliminal message. Yeah. We'll throw that ad up there. This is what you see with your eyes, but
But the last caption is a
oh yeah,
Marlboro.
bloop. Yep. just like in
Marlboro
Fight Club.
cigarette.
Remember the little bloop?
Well, here it is.
Yeah.
Marlboro's taking a book out of mom and dad's playbook. When mom and dad would tell the child, "Don't do that," the child goes, "I want to go do that." Same concept.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
lift.
Well,
I'm
the
gonna
old-
lift one from Dad's pack.
Well, that was the remember the old school way of doing it is like Dad catches you smoking. He's like, all right, we're going to sit here and we're going to smoke an entire pack of cigarettes. You're not going to want to smoke after that.
No.
Right.
They
2
don't do it.
cartons later.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Hey man.
Feeling all right now.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the replacing the cigarette ads with like sugar ads now with all
Yeah.
the cereal and all that stuff. That's one of the reasons I love like Netflix.
Yeah.
Like I don't really watch TV much anymore. I'm more of a Netflix person.
Yeah.
And
Amazon Prime.
yeah,
Cut
or
the
Amazon
cord.
Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are Amazon people with
Yeah.
the dot.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a funny story here. My sister was actually watching my 2 daughters, and she was over at their place. And this is at a time before they had a smart TV and before they were getting into the streaming devices, and they actually had TV. And so they're sitting in the playroom, and the TV's on, and they're watching this. And one of my daughters says, "What show is this?" And my sister was like, "That's a commercial." And she's like, "What?" Because my daughters weren't at the time. We don't watch TV. We watch
Right.
we watch Netflix. They had no
Yeah.
idea what a commercial was, and I was like, "Well, that was a parenting win for me."
Right. Although you go to Hulu and to try to get away from it, and now they have like tons of ads.
What's great? Yeah, I have a friend that he pays for his
Yeah.
subscription to Hulu
Yep.
and still gets commercials.
Same here. I
Yeah.
pay for my and you know what the frustrating thing is it seems like the longer you have it, the more commercials they interject.
Mm-hmm.
So like I swear when I first signed up for Hulu it was like 1 maybe 2 commercials,
Mm-hmm.
like per round. And now it's up to like 5, sometimes 6. And it was like to the point where even my husband noticed it and said he's like is it just me? Like am I going crazy or do they just like keep stacking these up because it just seems like they keep increasing? And I said no, they really do.
You know,
Yeah.
I had the same thing happen with a streaming service, Slacker Radio. I actually broke down and I thought, it's pretty cool that they have this little service and I can do these skips. And I bought into the Slacker Radio thing, but even buying into it, I still got commercials. And I'm like, what is this all about? And then on top of that, even though I paid for it, I only got, and the same thing goes for Pandora Radio.
Yeah.
You can only have a certain amount of skips per hour. And it's like,
Yep.
what? No. I'm paying you $15, $20 an hour. You give me unlimited skips. That's why I'm a Spotify user now.
I was going to say
That's why I pay for that.
because like Pandora, I got the free Pandora and I only have a limited amount. So
Right.
if you're still getting a limited amount of paying for it,
Now, I'm sure that this was 10 years ago. I'm sure
Oh.
that the rules have changed.
I was
But,
gonna say,
you
that-
know,
that's crappy.
but when they had a paying service, they still were like limiting you. I'm like, what? No. Everything should be unlimited now.
That's why I cut cable like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Right,
which
exactly.
is why internet prices are now going up. If
Well,
you just have cable,
that's the only
Right.
I have cable because they just bundled it. And so it's like $70 for your internet, and it was $75 for internet and cable. And I'm like, for $5, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Throw that on there and keep that. Well, then they raised my bill up and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I called
Limited your bandwidth.
I called them up and I was like, hey, no. If this is what's going to be, I don't want cable anymore. I just want your internet and all that stuff. They're like,
Right.
oh, no. Let's factor this in and all that stuff. They're like, well, it increased and all that because, you've got HBO and all that stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. I have HBO? And they were like, no, yeah, you've had HBO for 2 years. And I'm like, what? I've had HBO for 2 years and I didn't know
I had no
HBO?
idea. I
They were like,
couldn't
oh, you were getting it for free. And I'm like,
Thanks for the
so
memo.
I went and got into their, I was with him for like half an hour, 45 minutes talking to him on the phone. And finally I got to this guy. He's all like, tell you what we're going to do, we're going to keep the same service. We're going to take your bill down and we're going to give you the free HBO for a whole year. And I was like, cool, sounds good.
Right.
I said, but I'm talking to you right now. It's, like 3-4 days before Thanksgiving. So you're telling me my bill's going to go back up right after Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving? He's like, yep. I said, well then, how do I get my bill back down? He's like, just call us up, just haggle us again. I was like, he was pretty straight. Yeah, he was pretty straightforward with it. I'm like, cool. I think I'm going to have free HBO for the rest of my life.
Yeah, if you have Cox, I'll work with you a little bit, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just cut it on principle alone.
But
Yeah, well,
I'm not going to pay
I-
to watch commercials.
I just got rid of my. I had satellite. I had Cox cable. Yeah, it was free, but I preferred DirecTV. Just the picture alone, and their audience channel, and I had Palladia, which is now MTV Live because they got bought out.
Is it Palladia or is it
Palladia?
Is it
Palladia.
Putting the accent on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, but they're since gone now, and MTV, since they were losing viewership, bought that and all that stuff, which was cool because it was concerts all the time. But yeah, it was another $70 a month that I was paying, and I'm just like, I didn't pay a bill, and let it lapse, and so they cut my service, and they came back the next month and they were like, hey, you need to pay your bill, and I'm all like, I found out in that whole month after you cut my service that I really don't want you that much, so
Right.
I didn't
sayonara.
miss a daggone thing.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
I didn't miss a darn thing.
Thank you for doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
200 channels of nothing.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, Dave and I, like, when we were saving up for our first house, we cut our cable because we're like, okay, where can we, cut some
costs,
money?
yeah.
Cut costs to save up to buy the house. And,
sure.
Cable was the first thing to go because we're like, okay, well, that's Something we
$150
can
a
cut.
month.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
One less thing I have to
And
pay
we have
for.
a new
Right.
home. We're not going to spend a lot of time watching TV right now.
Exactly. We're going to be putting
filling
the money,
drawers and emptying boxes.
putting
and,
money into the house, fixing things
Working
the way
to
we
pay for
wanted,
the house.
whatever. Yeah,
Absolutely,
exactly.
that too, yeah.
And then we were kind of the same way. We just realized I didn't miss a thing.
Okay, so but that leads right into this talk that we're talking about, advertising.
Yeah.
And a lot of people advertise on TV. But now that we've got this thing called DVR, and we've got this thing called Netflix and Amazon Prime, people aren't watching commercials anymore.
It's true.
Oh, well, that's when you notice,
That's
like,
what they're
if you
trying to-
if you DVR anything, what you notice is, like, there's the little blurb that pops up at the bottom, and then there's the little ad that pops up, for whatever shows or whatever thing, and at the bottom of the screen.
But when I DVR'd through DirecTV, I fast forward.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can
it was
skip.
gone.
Right.
Yeah, this is
Used to be
during
able
the
to
show.
skip through that.
This have you ever? Apparently, you're so in tune to the show that you don't even notice it. But at the bottom of the screen, every once in a while, something else will pop up.
What?
And it'll be an ad.
Is
at
this
the bottom
with Cox Cable?
I have Cox. Yeah, this has
I
apparently.
was going to
yeah,
say,
yeah.
with DirecTV, I didn't have that problem.
Yeah, no, even when you DVR something, it'll pop up at the bottom of the screen, and it'll be like a show or something.
Well, I
that's
know
coming
that
up.
with Cox Cable, when I go onto their on-demand and I want to watch a show on their on-demand menu, there will be commercials. Now, the commercials, it's only halfway through the show, and there's like 4 commercials, and then they're done, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But still, they're throwing them in there. I'm like, no, just show me the show. Stop giving me all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's the opposite of that too, where you have people that like watch, say, for example, like the Super Bowl only because of the
Oh,
commercials.
for the commercials. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
They
a
fast
very good.
forward
It's
through the
coming
game.
right up.
That's a really good point. Tomorrow's the Super Bowl. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm not a Pats fan, so go commercials.
Awesome.
I'm a big underdog fan, so I'm kind of hoping the Eagles take it.
I
we'll
hope
see.
so.
Just because I know they have enough, right? So
Right.
I always root for the underdogs if I'm not rooting for anybody.
Same here. I have nothing against the Patriots, but they've got a lot, so it'd be nice to have
Deflategate.
somebody else get one.
My mind went to the same place.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about some marketing fails that we've had recently. I know that not a lot of us watch TV and all that, but I'm sure that you've heard about these. But the first one and the biggest one is the Pepsi Caitlyn Jenner ad. Do you guys remember that one?
I thought you were going to
seen
say
it.
crystal clear Pepsi. Is that
I'm
one?
gonna
That's
have-
where I thought
oh,
you were
no.
going.
I'm going to have to YouTube that one after this.
Yeah,
That one's disturbing.
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 minute ad, and it's all basically it happened during the whole the crescendo of the Black Lives Matter, and they were using that to kind of piggyback the ad for Pepsi on, and Caitlyn Jenner was also coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like a
remember.
whole riot, and it's all it was all the millennial generation on trying to be heard and all this, and they were rioting. But if you actually look at some of the protest signs and all that, they're like non-offensive protest signs and all that stuff. But it's kind of funny.
Drink Pepsi.
Yeah, but then
Afraid to hurt somebody's
So then at the
feelings.
end, it's basically the whole crowd comes up, and there's a whole line of police officers, and Caitlyn Jenner comes out and she hands one of the police officers a Pepsi, and he takes it and drinks it, and it's like everybody's like, "Hey, okay, we're all good now." So yeah, I was like, and everybody's like, "What?
What just happened?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Is that one for the transgender
Yeah,
community?
Yeah.
or the Black Lives Matter, or Pepsi, or
Or the
cops,
police.
or
Who's
what-
winning
yeah,
on this
yeah,
one?
what-
It
yeah.
sounds like a great big question mark. I'm going to have to
Everybody?
watch that one.
Yeah, if you do a search for just marketing fails, that's like the number one that pops up. So
well, it's got Caitlyn Jenner on it. So
yeah.
Who's watching her anymore?
Dove.
Him? Her?
So, and as a woman,
Yeah.
so Dove came out with the positive body image bottles. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
When they
I
came
do.
out?
Where they had women of all sizes
Yeah.
in there.
You're not fat, but here's a bottle that's fat. It's just
Right.
so
For real women.
for the men that don't know, so Dove came out, and instead of having just like one bottle of soap, you had like 7 or 8, and they were all body images of women, and you could pick your body image.
That's extremely offensive.
It is.
right.
But
So I
me
gotta-
personally, I would buy the bigger one because
you
I
get more
want
stuff in-
more.
Right? Exactly.
That's what I
Does
do.
it cost
Right.
the same?
Yeah, no, it
Yeah, that's
did
a
cost
good
the same.
question.
the
I'd
skinny
buy
one,
the
you
bigger
get less.
What's the best value? That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the Costco version?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I get the bucket?
Right.
The 5-gallon bucket?
Exactly. Another one was you remember when Bic came out with pens for women? Yeah, so that was one of those failed marketing campaigns. They actually have pens for women, and
Because they write better, or
no,
in a different color?
They write the same, but it's just the look of the pen apparently is they have flashy colors, and
Instead of it being blue on the tips, stating that it was blue.
I think they're
It would
it's
be
not it's black.
cooler.
Yeah, well, and it's also they say that it's ergonomically made for a woman's hand. So what does that mean? Does that mean like the Michelob Ultra cans that are skinnier? It's made for the woman's hand. I mean, what are you trying to say here?
Right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Another failed marketing campaign.
Exactly.
Failed.
Well, and the fact that nobody knows about it tells me it's a failed marketing campaign.
Yeah, but it was a real thing. It was a real
I
thing.
remember the big one, though.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Another one of my favorites is Axe body spray. It's like, oh, spray this on, women will flock to you.
No.
That stuff
no.
is gross.
And then now teenage boys are bathing in it. It's just like, who walked in? Because like seriously, we just smelled like this Axe body spray from a mile away.
There is
Never
no
go hunting.
There is no substitute for a shower.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you've been day drinking all day, you might want a little spray. I got something important later this evening, and I can't take a shower.
I ain't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for
Ain't
that.
nobody got time. I got 2 cans of Axe, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, no. As a woman, that doesn't work.
No.
Just throwing that out.
I want to give Axe credit. They did have one, and it was like a chocolate, and it smelled like chocolate, and it was like, no, yeah,
I'm okay
Were
with
you
smelling like
eating
Hershey's.
chocolates earlier or something? It actually, that was the one decent scent that they had. That was okay.
Chocolate.
I'm a Dapper Dan, man.
Oh yeah, oh, that was a good reference. That's a good pop culture reference
Dapper?
right there. Yeah. Oh brother, we're out there.
Yes.
That's George Clooney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Dapper Dan man. I'm in a tight spot. Another one that I was a little lesser known, but I just found like ridiculous was KFC buckets for the cure.
Please tell me it wasn't
Hold on.
heart disease.
You,
No,
had,
it
you
was-
had me at KFC.
So it was for breast cancer awareness, right? So
Okay.
nothing says like, hey, we're going to cure breast cancer by feeding you,
With fried chicken.
that's all pumped full of hormones and
Right.
yeah.
Cure breast
Probably gonna
cancer
get-
with obesity.
Right, pure breast. You're not going to get breast cancer because you're going to die from a heart attack first.
Right. Exactly. You don't have to worry about breast cancer if you're going to die from a heart attack.
Exactly.
Put it on the back burner.
Right.
That's a quick go program.
Right.
I got to slip out again, real quick.
You
Sorry.
gotta do
So,
what you gotta do.
I like to say that I don't have a small bladder. It's just an over-effective liver.
Yeah. Well, you guys better hurry up because I'm ready for
Or
the next
kidneys.
round here.
Yeah, well, no, you still say hurry up. I'm ready to go myself.
I figured you were.
I got no problem keeping drinking.
Right.
What's your flavor?
Hey, you're the brewmaster. You're the guy over there pulling arms. So, speaking of advertising, if those of you who are watching, we've got advertising going on right at the table.
Yeah, we do.
Drinking right out of our own cups. So when you come on our show, we give out free glasses.
I know, and I was
So,
pretty excited about that.
Not free to
as well.
us. I mean, we got to buy the glasses, but and these glasses resemble beer cans.
Yes,
You know?
they do.
And I love drinking out of these with the little lips. That's another great advertising thing I see online all the time is like I'm part of the Nebraska Brew Crew and I'm part of Nebraska something else. Anyway, all Nebraska beers and all that stuff. And people take pictures of the beers they're drinking in the evenings and all that stuff, and they're getting together. And I find out a lot of information on where to buy stuff. Like I'm also part of Hy-Vee out in Council Bluffs because, I mean, they're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, and they've got a whole lot of different breweries that they can obtain other than Nebraska can.
Yeah.
But when they take their pictures, I'm noticing that they're in cross-strain glasses or they're in pint 9 glasses or they're, so these breweries have figured it out where they need their stemware, and
branded.
they sell branded and they sell it to the people.
Oh, absolutely.
And they look so nice. Like
yeah.
I love my cross-string glass. It's like a what would I say? A wine glass.
Yeah.
But then it's like fluted at the top, like this glass is. It's just like a little flute at the top. Oh, it just look, and the insignia that they branded on it. It's just so nice.
Their marketing is amazing.
Yeah,
Their marketing is amazing.
It really is. It really is.
They're Andrew and Sarah bought me some cups, and they look almost like little Christmas trees. It's big glass bottom on the bottom, and then it kind of comes up a little bit, and then it comes way far out, and then it comes back up a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, the way they fit in their hands. I'm just saying that our marketing, we've got our cups, and then now...
Which I realize is hard to see with a really dark beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We've got Jack's Black.
Keep it half empty.
Yeah, we need to have something with like paint that illuminates in the light.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'm
sure they'd
I'm
be
seeing
super
on
cheap
Nebraska
that way.
Brew Crew and all that stuff. People take pictures with all these glass and stemwares from Cross Drain and Pint Nine
sure,
and all
yeah.
that. Like these breweries out there that it's just marketing for them.
Oh yeah,
it's
free, and they're not even doing it. This is other people doing it for them, which
Absolutely.
is the best kind of marketing.
Oh yeah, word of mouth.
It's free marketing.
Well,
Yeah.
it's word of mouth 2.0.
Yeah,
is what it is. Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
The good side of marketing.
Right.
Not the dark side. The dark
Right.
side.
Beer out of my glass. My friends are going to recognize what glass you're drinking out of.
Oh yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
For sure. Yep.
Exactly.
If only we could be so lucky.
Right.
Before I stopped over here tonight, I stopped over at the Casual Pint.
Oh yeah, down in Countryside Village, a small town in the city.
Well, it's just a block or two away from my house. It's not that far away. And I was surprised. It was my first time there, and I found out through Facebook, through Nebraska Brew Crew, that people have been to this pint place, the Casual Pint, and they just have awesome brews on tap. I think they had 26 taps or something like that. But then on either side of their store is beer. They have a beer cooler over here, but then they have the warm beer over here because, you can't just have coolers galore. And
it's not like gas station beer. Like this is like
this is the
beer.
good stuff. I picked up some Evil Twin, and I picked up some Super Hop, I believe, from Fairy Nectar, Cross Drain. So
yeah, it's always a good sign when you walk into like a tap room and they have a chalkboard for the beer because they rotate that out.
So you've been to Casual Pint?
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And you didn't invite me because I'm just down the street.
Yeah. Sorry.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. That was a fail on my part.
You're in trouble.
Sorry. Yeah, I am in trouble. Yep.
It was my first time there this evening, and I'm going to go back to have a beer.
I was going to say I'm very surprised.
I didn't have a
being
beer
so
that
close to your house that
Well, we don't drive that way very often, and I saw it 2 months ago, and I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
What is Casual Pint?
Do they have 84th Street open? No, this is a little side topic, but they have 84th Street open?
It's open now.
Okay, all right. For those of the Omaha listening
that need
audience,
to travel on 84th Street, it is open now.
Yes, by UNMC there, or Med Center. It is open now.
Anyway, Brian, you got any more of these fun little facts?
Not the failed marketing, but I did want to get into the marketing formula. And,
yes, there is a formula.
There is a marketing formula, and the reason we bring
It's
it
all
up
about
is,
the hashtags.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's that too. But this is more the like the
I don't
basis.
know. I don't get it either.
I don't understand it.
Not
one bit.
I get it because I'm the one that does our Twitter feed and all that stuff, so I get it. And the nice thing about the hashtags is you can search by hashtag. So if you hashtag a couple different things, it falls under that hashtag.
Well, you heard me today, right before we started the programming. I said, "Hey, I'm tagging this. I'm tagging homebrew. I'm tagging you guys. I'm tagging these things." When people search Barley Boys, hopefully they'd come up with this video eventually. Sometime.
So it'll collectively come together.
They'd be able to find you easier.
Now, there
faster.
is somebody that shall remain nameless that Britt and I know quite well that puts a lot of hashtags on what they post, and they're not actually real hashtags. They're just hashtags that are made up.
There's
Right.
a couple of people that put hashtags on Facebook. I don't think that's how that works.
No.
Oh,
Well,
you
it
can
does,
No, I
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Twitter
You know.
is linked up with Facebook now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
Yep.
now a conglomerate.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to the new age.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You know,
I
like
need
the
to do my
Imagine
homework.
Dragons used to say.
Yeah. Welcome to the new.
Thank you. Got it.
New
All right.
Speaking of the new age, you're a little behind the times.
You're right. You're right. Before we get into the marketing formula,
Yeah.
are we doing something new, or is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the
We
next one.
are.
This is the next one. Oh,
force to see.
nice.
All right.
It's a force to be reckoned with going down the hatch there. Digged it.
But yeah, like I mean, like even like back to the dark side of marketing, like there, you know, you talk about the Amazon Echo and stuff, and you know, there was a case a while ago where there was a lady that was murdered, and they were able to pull the recording of it from, and they were able to actually like convict
Even
this
though
guy
she hadn't said it.
they were able to convict the boyfriend or husband or whatever he was to her by pulling the records from the Amazon Echo.
That's
Crazy.
that's one of those things that really gets touchy because I'm surprised that Amazon said, yeah, you can go ahead and use this. I get why they did it, but that opens the door for people to say, wait a minute,
Right.
did she say, you know, and I don't want to get, you know,
Yeah.
we've been saying it on the program, but did they
yeah.
say her name?
Right. Did they say Alexa to try to,
Yeah. Like I
And
said,
she turns
I
on.
didn't want to turn her on, but ha
Right.
Surprise!
Bing, bing, bing.
Well,
I just have that effect.
and then the other side of that too is, okay, so when is that, you know, where does that
Yeah,
stop?
where does that cross the line?
Right.
Well,
Are they going to start using that to
or do
convict
we-
people for, you know, different,
You know.
whatever they're doing, you know?
If you want to find out
what do we-
information nowadays, go ahead.
I was
Let's
gonna
talk
say,
about the beer for
I
a
don't know what I'm
second.
Yeah,
drinking
sorry.
here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Put a glass up to big shout out to Steve. This is Steve Nasser, our founder. This
Yeah.
is the best mistake ever.
Is that the name of it? That'd be awesome.
No, hold on. Nasser.
Nasser.
Is Sam? Do you guys know Sam? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
And no
Sam
relation to
Nasser?
Larry Nasser.
And
either.
yeah, absolutely no relation to Larry.
Okay, all right.
This is Jack's
And my
Black.
other brother
This
Larry.
Jack's Black?
Yeah,
I love Jack Black.
That one.
This is our porter.
Jack's Black.
Yeah, this
Jack's
was,
Black.
this
Well,
was
but-
Jack's Black before Jack Black was a thing.
Right.
Long before.
Or a person.
It's,
Hey, he's a funny guy. I like him. He's funny.
oh, he's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Absolutely wonderful guy.
In fact, I watched one of his shows just not too long ago.
You're going on too
Oh,
much
yeah.
of a tangent. We're trying to clinky here. All right.
He was a polka band guy. Jack Black and polka band.
Ooh.
It's one of his new movies out. It was
know-
it was pretty darn funny though.
For a porter, this is really smooth.
Isn't it, though?
I like it. I really like it. You know, and porters, I like darker beers, but
Porter.
for some reason that porter category for me is a hit or miss, and I've had some good misses. Yeah, you know, but I've had some really good ones too, and this I would put in the really good. This is really drinkable for a porter. For those that want to enter like a porter category,
Yeah.
this would be a good starter. This would be a really good starter.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
This was designed as an imperial at one point.
Oh, you want to go a little stronger?
Well, this was not my brainchild. This was Steve's, and my God, is it the best mistake I've ever tasted? in
Oh
my
yeah,
life.
Right?
that's
no, it's good. It's smooth. It's nice. It's crisp.
it's it's very flavorful, but it's light. Like
Yeah.
for a porter, it's really light.
It is.
Even though there's still a lot of flavor for it. Yeah, that's like magic right there. Seriously, like how do you make it light but flavorful? That's really cool. I dig it. That's probably one of the best porters I've ever had.
Oh, well,
other than my Pooh's porter, that was the Winnie the Pooh, the honey porter.
right. POOH.
Yes, POOH. Yeah. So no, I dig
Name
it.
drop.
I really dig. Well, I can't really. I mean, that was a home brew, so
Yeah. Nobody can get
name
it.
dropping is like, oh well.
There was no advertising
No,
whatsoever
but it
on
was
that.
No.
it was poo, not poo.
Oh yeah. Which we did talk about the poo emoji before.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Oh, I see how it all ties in.
Came
See where he's
all
going.
full circle.
Full
there.
circle. All right. Well, let's talk. Speaking of full circle, let's talk about the marketing formula.
Yeah.
So actually, and we can all witness this in any marketing scheme, or well, not really scheme, but any marketing that you see. There are really like some people say 7 steps, but here's really the basic 4 steps of marketing. The first step would be curiosity.
Yeah.
Doing a call.
Things that make you go,
Yeah, or a call to
I'm
action.
interested.
Yeah. So curiosity or a call to action, piquing your interest in the whole thing. Then the second step would be establishing credibility or trust
Sure.
with the viewing public or the consumer or whoever. After that, then you make them feel pain. You bring them down a notch.
You make them
Okay.
feel bad for not buying it.
Exactly.
Like, this is why you need our product.
Yeah, which they're playing on American vanity for
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
You know, and then the final the final one is introduce the solution.
Yeah.
And that has been for 100 years.
This is a $500 unit, but you could have it all yours at a low finance price of $39.99. You know, like key price
3
points
payments.
as well.
Yeah, you see, and
Yeah,
even
7 easy payments.
well, and even that, even the marketing formula works well. And I was just noticing it. We took our girls to go watch The Greatest Showman, which is a movie that's new here.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really great movie. You got to like musicals, but I really liked it. And it was interesting seeing Wolverine as a singing character.
Sure.
Or Hugh Jackman. What kind of name is Hugh Jackman? Anyway, I was noticing it was a really great movie, but I was like, it's kind of predictable because it goes, it piques your interests, things go well, things don't go well, and then it ends up great. And that's like
Every movie ever.
99% of movies.
Yeah.
That's the way every formula. Same as marketing. Pique the curiosity. Oh, this is interesting. Establish credibility and trust. Well, so it's like you're getting to know this character, right? And then make them feel pain.
He's a good guy.
They hit rock
They
bottom.
messed up.
And introduce the solution would be well, everything's fine now.
We're good.
One exception of
He
that.
apologized.
I think, I'm a big WWT guy, and My Pillow.
Oh man,
Hey, you're that guy.
That's actually
It
great.
comes in backwards.
it is yeah,
But
so-
it actually hits home with everybody because who doesn't
I
suck
was-
at sleeping?
Right.
I was at a gas station, the Flying J. No, it wasn't Flying J. Sat Brothers. I was at Sat Brothers. We had to go get a truck worked on,
Sure.
and we have an account at Sat Brothers, so we're like, take the truck there, get it all fixed up, no big deal. Anyway, funny story. They sent some guy to come pick me up. I was like, cool, yeah, I'm just hanging out, come pick me up. He's like, cool, yeah, no, I'm here. I'm like, cool, you're here, cool, where are you at? He's like, I'm on the repair side. I was like, oh, sorry, I went on the gas pump side. Cool, yeah, I'll go inside. I don't see you. Where are you at? He's like, no, I'm here. I'm right here in front of the shop. What Sat Brothers are you at? The one in Iowa. I'm like, I'm out on 144th Street. So
The Sap Brothers.
so I had some time. I was like, cool, just turn around. You got to come this way. So I had some time. I was roaming the store, and they had some My Pillows in there, and I was like laying my head on them. I'm like, these are actually pretty comfortable. These commercials are pretty good. Maybe I might want to buy one of these things.
Well, so tell me, is it the real deal or not?
It was
got
pretty
me on edge
decent. Yeah.
here.
I know a couple people that have them, and they actually swear by them. But it was the kind
Good
of
marketing, though.
yeah.
Great marketing.
Absolutely.
I'm
It
just a
stuck
guy
in my
that's got a
mind.
pillow, and it's my pillow.
I just
Well,
watched
and everybody
TV for
needs
the
one.
news. So.
I was actually out at the
Everyone does
VFW.
need one.
I was out at the VFW that I belong to, and I was just having a couple out there. And down at the end of the bar, I heard the conversation, and they were having a heated debate, like on the My Pillow thing. And one of them was like, "Oh, it's a piece of crap. Why would you pay $50 for a pillow?" And the other one's like, because it's worth it. Have you actually ever slept on it? And so they were having a
half
pretty
of your
heated debate.
half of your life is spent on a pillow.
Yeah.
You sleep.
Hopefully at
every
least a
day.
third, yeah.
Or a third, whatever.
Do you want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, buy the discount pillow? Really?
Right?
No. So you see what this is, right? This is a marketing win.
I mean, you could...
Absolutely.
Marketing win.
It is. It really is. But if it works, honestly, that's the thing.
great.
Is if it actually
does what it says it's going to do.
Here's another marketing win. Beanie Babies.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I was the Beanie Baby queen.
What?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just these little animals, whatever, filled with some beans.
How's
yeah,
that-
but
how's
you got to
that
keep
investment paying?
the label intact,
Right.
and,
You
and they
gotta-
make little protective covers.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, little additives.
I never got it. Our sister got into that.
That was like her retirement
There's
plan,
some,
but
man.
the-
there's
here's
some
the thing.
some of them are selling for 3,000 plus.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right, but it was more so like a supply and demand thing, Like it was like,
Yeah,
like I remember
a limited
I-
release of
right.
these came out.
Right, like my mom and I,
go.
like we used to literally call around to stores and find out when they were getting shipments of Beanie Babies in, and
Oh,
we would
what-
literally go there and wait for that shipment to come in and see which of the ones that we didn't have that came in.
Well, that's
Yeah,
like the
for those
what-
millennials.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
The new
This
one is the finger-
dawn before the internet.
right.
Yeah, but the new one out
you
from-
actually had to call.
for millennials is the there's
We
like
had a
the
phone
finger
with a
puppets.
cord.
There's finger puppets out now, or finger toys out now that like you put them on the finger and they're like finger puppets.
Oh,
And
Oh,
apparently-
please don't tell my daughter about
Like
that.
Oh.
not hand puppets, but finger puppets.
Yes, yeah. Well, and
Okay.
our sister was one of those that was like posted like, "Hey, where can you find these? Because they are sold out everywhere." And I'm like, "Oh, this is the Beanie Baby craze all over again."
or Hatchimals.
Oh, yeah.
Hatchimals.
That's
yeah.
the new Furby.
What was the
You know.
keychain pet?
Oh, a Tamagotchi.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
you had your keychain pet, and
Yeah.
you didn't want to let it die.
Don't
Nope.
Yeah, don't forget to feed him.
Feed me.
Yeah, for when every child didn't have a cell phone or tablet attached to their hip, or both.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was before they had like the Tamagotchi Connect, where you could like
There you go.
hook up to other. Yeah, that's much better. Where you could, hook up to other people's Tamagotchis. I mean, like the original Tamagotchi, you couldn't do any of that. It was
Yeah.
just like you
It
just
was,
had your little pet that you raised, and you tried, and it pooped all over the place, and you hoped it didn't die when you went to school.
Well, and you remember when the game?
You're in school like
Right.
Yeah. It reminds-
Yeah, the original cell
And then
phone.
your beeper went off.
It was the
Oh my
original
god! I gotta
cell
feel my
phone.
pet. I gotta feel my pet.
your beeper went off. Brian, didn't you have a beeper? You had a
Oh,
blue
yeah.
one.
So yeah, I bought
Green.
it. I actually had two cases that I could switch out. I
Yeah.
had the blue case and I had a clear
Blue,
case.
the blue.
I had
one,
a
remember
clear
that.
blue and a clear green. Yeah.
Yeah, I
for
remember
sure.
the clear green case. Yeah.
And it was $10 a month.
Because
Yeah.
you're a
Yeah.
doctor.
And if you didn't
Needed
answer
one.
that thing within 30 seconds of mom paging you,
911.
you were up.
Oh
Black
yeah,
Creek.
you were. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
The
in
one that
big
I
trouble.
actually
I
had
wasn't
was-
near a phone.
Yeah, I remember the one that I had actually had a response mode. Like if somebody beeped you, like you could send them a message back to the phone where it would ring a certain way.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
like almost like Morse code or something.
Well, it was just like like a different ring.
Yeah.
So they knew that you had gotten the text.
Okay.
So I don't know what.
Gave you-
I mean, you would have to
Gave
have
you
like,
another 30 seconds.
Yeah. Call
So you
in
had a
and-
full minute to respond.
Yeah, I'm driving. I'll get to a payphone in a minute. Who remembers payphones?
Oh,
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh
What-
yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I couldn't remember the last time I saw one.
Oh,
They
yeah.
It's
They
been a
used to
while
have
since I've seen one.
I see them
Right.
every once in a while at airports.
Oh,
They-
sure,
They have
sure.
them like hidden in a corner in a little bank, and they used to have like the whole room of them at Epley Airfield. They were top of the escalators. They had a
Yeah.
whole bank of them, but I don't think they were there anymore.
I don't think so either. I think it's like all been replaced with
They're like
phone
unicorns
charge with like phone charger.
Absolutely,
like
yeah,
ports.
power banks.
USB
Yeah, yeah.
stations or whatever.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because usually the problem is now that your cell phone died while you were in
Oh,
transit.
for sure. I remember the first time I saw that we were at. It was in Fort Lauderdale, not Fort Lauderdale. It was in Florida. I forget which.
Orlando Airport.
It might have been, yeah. And they had a whole like.
That's what you usually
I
fly
walked
to.
up, and all these people like had their phones charged in there, sitting around this thing, and I'm like,
Yep.
"What is this?" Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that looks useful. I could actually use that.
Well, right, yeah. Well, now like to be like, if you want to be the airport hero, you bring along like a power strip. you
Oh
know?
yeah.
Or the 3 battery or 3 port charger.
All right. So
There you go.
speaking of advertising and funny things, stickers. So I've seen the new sticker where it looks like a plug, and people put it on the wall, and people are like, "What's going on? I can't plug in my." Oh,
That's just mean.
that is so mean.
It is
so mean.
Oh, no free power today.
Oh man! Now I gotta patch my drywall.
Well, here's what it was. The 70s it was marijuana, in the 80s it was cocaine, in the 90s it was something else. In 2000s it's power.
Black tar
It's
heroin.
power. Where's the power at? Where's the power at?
Right.
I can't be disconnected.
Yeah, right. Everybody's carrying battery banks and all
Right.
that around
Yeah.
with them. And
Everybody has to be able to reach me at a second's notice.
I need it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right now.
You know,
I-
that instant gratification.
I think I'm on my phone a fair amount, but like
Right.
I seriously don't need to charge my phone more than twice a day, or more than once a day. Like I plug it in at night, and I'm usually at like a 40 or 50%.
Yeah, but you probably use your phone for that thing called phone calls.
Right.
I do,
Right.
But I do a lot of
So weird to make a
Google
phone.
searching and
well,
whatnot.
Like I said, I'm in charge of our Twitter feed and all that
Right.
stuff, and so
You probably keep that too. You know.
Well,
minimum, yeah,
Bare
I
minimum,
do.
yeah.
And honestly, I mean, I'm not I have a 3-year-old. Like, I try to keep him engaged. I try not to, keep him on too much technology and things like that. And so I try not to have my phone out because otherwise he's going to be.
He wants to see your phone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I still don't use I don't use my phone that much for much more than phone calls and, the occasional, like, Facebook.
Amy?
Like, what?
Where's your phone at right now?
I don't know. I know.
Mine's sitting right
And
here on top of the power bank.
And you. And I don't
Oh,
even
yeah,
have
that's
anxiety
right.
about it.
She
I don't
lost
even-
her cell phone.
I sure did. I'm
It
pretty
is one of those things. If you leave the house without your cell phone, is
You
cause
feel
for
very
danger.
naked.
You feel, you
I
sure
feel
do.
naked. I'm like, where'd my phone go? You know,
Right.
like,
I really don't care as long
I'm
as
pretty
I have
sure
my
it's in the
driver's
back of Andrew and
license.
Sarah's van
I'll
right
figure
now.
it out.
I'm not really. I don't know.
have
for
you
sure
called
though.
that? Oh wait, you can't call.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make it pretty difficult.
I have no qualms walking 5 miles. It doesn't bother me. So
Right.
How do you find your way without your cell
But
phone?
when you walk 500
You know-
miles,
Walk 500 miles an
Name
hour.
drop.
Oh.
Walk 500 more.
oh man,
All right, so let's
we kind of really got off the
we
topic.
did, we did.
Well, but yeah,
Let's
it
go
was
back-
great. It was
Nothing
great
wrong
to
with
get
that.
there. God.
Let's try and solve this. How do we solve this problem? What do you think?
Well, all right.
Cables up.
What is it? Minority Report, I think, where they had the advertising where you walk in, facial recognition, and then the ads just pop right
They
up
already
front.
have
Yep.
that today.
It's on your phone.
You
Yep.
know, it's. I don't know about solving an advertising or marketing issue. Making it easier would be a solution. Because it is really hard.
You want people to market to you easier? Is that what you're saying?
So on the GPS,
as
on your
I don't
phone?
think so.
as a small person, as a small brewery, as a small drink talk
As
show,
a business.
as a
Right.
small business,
Okay.
not big business,
All right.
small business. I want it to be easier. I
Right.
want it to just, hey, $50 a month, you're just going to handle whatever you need to handle to get me into first place, or at least try to get to the higher ranking.
But on the flip side of that is if you make it, and I'm not saying that's not a bad idea, but if you make it easier for the small business to market to people, don't you, on the flip side of that, the people that are consumers, aren't they being flooded by much more marketing?
Right.
right.
Well, luckily you do your
Due diligence.
within reason. You do your due diligence and you hire a marketing firm that is
Yeah.
versed in
Yeah.
this.
Right.
You know, I was strongly
Situation.
considering actually buying a one of those things on the interstate when you drive down it, big sign.
That billboard.
Are you
Billboard.
talking
No, I'm just
billboard?
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. We're not going to do that.
I've got them. I've
There
got
is
the number
one.
to
There
Lamar.
is
I can do
one
it.
for my favorite craft brewer out there.
Well, it's
Oh,
all right.
rookie
What's your
mistake.
favorite craft beer out there?
Cross Train.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
You know, we can mention them. That's
Name
fine.
drop.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Bobby and Scott are doing amazing things out there, and that's why my IPA is taking so long. Is because
You're trying to match theirs.
no,
Master of
no, not even. But I got to be in the same.
Well, that's the. I noticed John was drinking a Cardinal Pale Ale from
Right.
Nebraska Brewing Company earlier, and do you know the story behind that one?
No, I don't.
I did hear your podcast.
Yeah.
And
So they were trying to emulate the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale,
Okay.
and they couldn't do it. And finally, they got frustrated and just threw all the hops they had in it and said, "Screw it, we're done." So when it was done, they thought, "Well, we're just gonna have to clean up this mess and start over again." And
Right.
they tasted it, and they're like,
Whoa.
"This is it." But then, as a home brewer,
boom chocolate.
they're like, "How do we replicate this?"
Right.
Because they just like threw in everything, so they had to like back trace. Okay,
Like how much of what
What did I
they
buy?
threw in.
what hops did we have on hand? How much of what hops did we have on hand? What did we throw in
Right.
here? And yeah, they said that took a lot of time, but that's how the Cardinal Pale Ale came to be. And actually, the Cardinal name comes from one of their grandparents had a Cardinal bar, and that the lettering actually comes from the
lettering and the insignia, right?
yeah, the insignia. Yep, it's
Yeah.
not the Cardinals baseball team. It was just the lettering from whatever
their bar.
that they had in South
Interesting.
Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I love stories behind beer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's pretty awesome. It's
It is.
yeah, the best mistake ever.
right.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, Dad.
That's
Right.
I love the stories behind the beer and getting to know the brewers and
Yeah.
why did you create this concoction?
Yeah.
How did this come to be?
Well-
was it a happy accident?
Or like
as
the-
Bob Ross says, was it a happy
Right.
accident?
Well, and that's
Get
It's
a
gonna,
little-
it's gonna
get
be
a
a
few
cloud
happy
now.
trees.
Yeah, it's gonna be a cloud now.
Get some happy trees in there.
that's
right,
the
yeah.
biggest drawback to the IPA is that we weren't fans until we had the fairy nectar and
Right.
Of IPA style, or
Right.
Okay,
Right.
okay,
Yeah,
just the
as
style
a
in general.
style in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely.
None of us,
None.
not one of us.
I would say 5 years ago when I started. Well, I've been into craft beer a long time, but I did not drink IPA at all.
Okay.
Like I tasted IPA. I'm like,
Right.
you
and
get
I-
into craft beer, you don't start with an IPA.
No, you don't.
no, and
You
I
don't.
I started in craft beer.
You start with a pseudo-sue.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you start
Or-
with.
in the
or
ni-
a Phil's Pills.
Yeah, there you go.
in the 90s, I was drinking. I was a Miller Lite guy.
Sure.
But I would also I drank that when I went to parties because that was what was there.
Oh, it was
And
Bud
you could
Ice
drink
for me.
like 24 and
Bud
look
Ice
like a
came out.
rock star.
Yeah, but for me, if I was going to a party, I always
Mm-hmm.
brought Ice House because Ice House was 5.6% alcohol, which
Right.
was a little bit
Yeah,
more.
we felt so smart too.
Absolutely,
We're like,
I'm
getting
bringing a
more
little higher
from-
higher percentage.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into Killian's Red.
Yep.
And then I started getting into Bass Ale, and that was my foray into craft
Craft.
beer. Yeah, because I enjoyed flavor with beer. I enjoyed beer, and I was like, if I'm going to enjoy beer, I want to enjoy flavor with the beer.
Right.
Which is why I like
Absolutely.
coffee. Like for me, the people that dump half a cup of creamer and 6 sugars in there, it's like you're not drinking
You're not coffee, yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm
I-
a black coffee
Yeah,
guy.
exactly.
all
No,
day long.
I'm definitely that person that does like creamer and
Yeah.
all that good stuff in my coffee because
You're just drinking it for the caffeine. You're not
Right,
drinking. For me, I
absolutely.
drink coffee because I like the flavor
that
of
and
it.
it's nice, it's something nice and warm to drink, especially in the wintertime.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm a pot a day kind of guy. So
Oh, yeah.
in the winter, I'm like, I got to drink some tea to kind of mellow this out because I'm getting the jitters.
Although
you
it
know?
has more, that tea has actually more caffeine than
Depends on the tea
coffee.
that you drink.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, it depends on the tea that you drink.
So while I slipped off to the restroom,
Yeah.
things always come to your brain, when you have
Sure.
2 seconds to
you
think.
walked in
Right.
my crazy house.
Exactly. I'm gonna do one smart marketing thing here. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Red Robin. Yum. Having a jingle.
Yeah.
Having a jingle
Yeah.
is such a neat little thing that they can do.
Oh, absolutely.
And better get Mako. Everybody knows those
Countryside Village. A small
Meow,
town
meow,
in the
meow,
city.
meow, meow,
Exactly.
meow, meow, meow,
little smart marketing is to have a small jingle.
Bacon.
We're obviously not going to have Amy sing that.
You mean I shouldn't keep my day job?
Stop.
But yeah, I we have our intro and outro and all that sort of stuff like that. But
Right.
to come up with a neat little jingle,
Solving
really,
the world's problems one drink at a time.
yeah. It's a nice little jingle, but we
Yeah, it
don't.
is.
It's not a jingle. It's not something somebody sings.
It's a tagline.
It's a saying.
It's
yes.
a tagline.
Yeah.
But yum.
Hashtag. Hashtag
EA
yum.
Sports, get in the game.
Get in the game. Yeah.
Not that I'm a fan of EA anymore. I mean,
But you know that though.
Right.
You know EA Sports because they have that jingle that you say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It gets stuck in your brain. Easy to remember. Oh,
So our
they're trying to
tag-
mime the actions. We're going to
Yeah.
do Pictionary later. So
You guys can talk.
No,
about this.
they're trying to strike my memory here, and our tagline from the past was a masterpiece of liquid perfection.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, it was.
I
there
want to
enough-
have some of your beer now.
Was
Right?
there enough bass in my voice?
I like it.
masterpiece.
You got that
Masterpiece.
sultry voice going
What
on.
was that?
Masterpiece of
Masterpiece
liquid
Theater. Yeah, the Masterpiece Theater. Masterpiece of liquid
Masterpiece
perfection.
Theater.
I like that. That's really good. Masterpiece of liquid perfection.
You know,
You need like a James Earl Jones to like promote your beer.
really, Bozell, first round, there's no doubt in my mind why they won an Addy on this. Because
Right.
their marketing is just so quirky and complex and smart-aleck and relates to everybody as we sit at this table, 4 people from
Oh, absolutely.
absolute different backgrounds. Yeah.
families.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, intelligence,
Well,
What are you trying to say?
Sorry.
Where am I?
Sorry.
People from 2 different families, actually.
I told you earlier. I only have 2 associate's degrees, so
just the 2.
I think
All
I'm
right.
the
Yeah,
dumbest.
yeah, that's
I'm the
it?
dumbest here.
Oh, stop.
But at the same point, it kind of brings everybody together. When somebody can look at a label and say, "I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy," and everybody that looks at that gets
Right.
a smirk on their face.
Well, just we were commenting
That's
on this
good
one
marketing.
here. I'm going to read it. A bad day brewing is better than a good day working.
Absolutely.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, I know that. That's so awesome. I love that. I love that the philosophy.
I never saw that. That's
Yeah.
on the other side of the table that I didn't see.
Yeah.
I'm looking over here. I brew the beer I drink.
Yeah, which is
That's
also
what
another. That's a great philosophy.
That's a great
Right.
mantra,
Yeah.
It is.
But that's a better mantra,
Oh, absolutely.
I love being an electrician. I work for the greatest electrical contractor in town. They're the most compassionate people. But
A bad day brewing
bad
is
day
better.
brewing is
Yeah.
better than a good day at work.
Absolutely.
Amen.
It's coming back on how do we solve this then?
Right.
Well, you get with the right people. I mean,
Yeah.
down when we were first getting our stuff together, that's a good way of saying it, we needed a label. We needed a brand. And Brian and I aren't artists. We're not going to come up with the way this looks. So you reached out to your friend.
I did. Now, the label itself is very similar to what I brought to her. She perfected it for sure, but
Adding the lines,
yeah.
adding the cups, adding,
yeah,
all of that
I have a
stuff.
friend that's in marketing, and I said, "Hey, would you do this for us?" And she cut us a deal and all that. And
Nice.
she was the one that did the home brewing logo for us too, and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
But
Who knows to go with a big D, shrink it up a little bit, and then
Or the
Cheers
font
at the
level.
bottom of the glass.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you're looking at it from a business perspective, like from a consumer perspective. How do you solve the marketing problem?
turn off all notifications.
Right. Unplug from
Delete
technology.
your Google account.
Go to bed.
Basically, go back to the 90s.
How about not filling holes in your life with things and products?
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
There you go.
That's one thing.
Actually,
Go ahead.
Alexa,
actually interact with like your
do you have a skill
your
for
loved
that?
ones, and
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Actually, so and here's one of my philosophies: is use your money to better your life for long-term stuff.
Right.
Experiences, not things.
Right, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
and research shows like those are the happiest people, like the people that spend their money on vacations and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
rather than some big house or.
I would rather go into debt for a vacation than in debt for buying a car.
10 out of 10 times I would do that. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say my experience is right here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
even
that
just
is-
getting ready for this show, I was packing up my things, and my son was right downstairs with me playing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he, daddy, and he's trying to get my attention and all that stuff. And I'm like, I gotta pack up the show, and I gotta do this thing real quick. But it's 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. we're starting at 8, so it's no big rush. And he wanted to play Connect 4. So I get down on the floor and I play Connect 4 with my son. Right in the middle of me packing up all this stuff. It's all about good experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, there's nothing that should stop you from that.
No, there wasn't.
No,
Right.
not this
There wasn't.
podcast, not
No,
my
no.
business, nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Or even just, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, my husband was inside playing Jenga with my son
Nice.
rather than letting him, sit on a phone or, watch a TV show or whatever.
Oh, they're all inside watching us on Facebook.
Oh, great.
Ain't nothing wrong
Got
with
us
it.
on the big screen.
We've got a following.
Yeah.
And fail.
We've got a really
What a-
big family, for those who don't know.
Yes, we do.
One of my favorite things is I've got a Google or not a Google stick, but a Chromecast.
Oh,
I got a Chromecast, so anything I have on my phone or on my computer, I can just throw right up onto my screen. And I take these episodes and I throw them up on my screen, watch them full version, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
and see
Yeah.
how many times I pick
Yeah,
my
exactly.
nose.
Exactly.
Well,
how many-
it was
see how
more
many
your
pimples I
your
have?
leg on the
Yeah.
table, and you kept doing this, and I'm watching the microphones just move left and right. I'm
Or
like,
how about all my turning that I'm doing?
You got my
love
comfy
the,
chair. Yeah.
Well,
I'm laid back, but
Yeah.
every time I move, it squeaks.
It's a
so I
squeaker.
have to stay back.
But it's still comfier than this folding chair.
and
Very true.
Normally,
Very
we're,
true.
Yeah.
we're
I'm not griping though. You guys
No.
are more than welcome to have my.
I may
fancy chairs.
I may need, treatment from my colleagues by the time I'm done with this for a pressure ulcer, but
We'll see the bill. We'll see the bill.
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we're usually standing for the podcast the whole time. So
Are
this is
you?
nice to be able to sit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, at the bar that we're at, we stand the whole time.
At the bar we're at, which is my
Your
basement.
basement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got on marketing. I mean,
Yeah,
unless we
no.
got some other stuff, we
We're
should.
actually
little over
hitting
an
a
hour and a half.
solid hour
John-
and 50.
we
almost.
viewing audience over here has some.
Yeah.
John.
Something from the peanut gallery?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
John.
come
John
on,
what do you got?
Paul.
What do you got? Yeah.
So,
Pick up a
so
microphone.
the
Yeah.
last thing I have on,
Yeah, lean on in there.
the
Lean
last
on in.
thing I
Like you're gonna make out
have
with
that I can come up with on marketing is the unseen factor of going from cable to streaming. Is in your streaming networks that don't have advertisements, that split up your viewing.
Yeah.
You notice more product placement in their
Oh, for
originals.
What was the
In
product
their
placement
originals.
this product?
with
Right.
Bells.
So I noticed that like my Longmire episodes, they have the Rainier can always forward, or my
Now, is that a real brand?
yeah, Rainier is actually a real beer brand. It's
figured
not a
I've been-
very well selling brand anymore, but
they're
it
trying
is
to
a-
get it out there because
Well,
But
yeah,
it is
apparently.
a real brand.
Oh yeah, that's a good
I
point.
figured it would
And
have
there
been
are
Coors Light.
several out there, that you notice in your Netflix originals, your Amazon originals, your Hulu originals, even where
Yeah.
you get more label
Product
forward
placement. Yeah.
product placement.
The big name brands, Apple
And-
and Google, and
And not
they're
ev-
doing that because you like that character and you're like, hey, that character's drinking it.
hey, they
Right.
Who doesn't
You're
like
exactly
Walt
right. You're
Longmire?
exactly right.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that in there that even though they're not putting advertisements splitting up their sections, as you guys aren't.
yeah,
No.
How many name drops have you had tonight?
a lot.
Oh,
Oh, tons.
Yeah, you know how many residuals we're getting from that?
none.
Yeah.
Zero.
right. But they're getting several.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which is fine.
In those episodes, and they're sending them to Pepsi first, or they're sending them to Rainier first, or they're sending them to whoever that lies to first. And that's where they're getting their portion of the ad revenue, because
Oh, yeah.
every consumer knows that they don't make money off of providing you a good television series. They
Right.
make money off of providing you a good
Yeah,
advertisement.
buying stuff that's on the show.
Well,
What movie was that where was it Thank You for Smoking? I can't remember. And he was like saying, he's like, they're out in space and they light up a good cigarette out in space.
Really?
And they're like, well, you really can't do that sort of thing out in space. And he's all like, oh, well, then they just come up with the whatchamajigget thing, and then they can smoke out in space. It's no big deal.
Right.
We created
The
atmosphere.
It was
filter.
all about advertising.
Yeah.
The vape pen.
The flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that thingamabobber that makes the thing happen, and then you're fine. It's no
Right.
big deal.
Here's a vape pen where you can get your nicotine inside a restaurant now.
There you go.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
yeah.
my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Just kidding.
Yeah, vaping's a
That
whole
was
no-
gone
yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic.
You might as well just continue smoking cigarettes because it's just as bad.
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
popcorn
If-
lung.
if
oh,
not-
yeah.
If not better.
Well, that's all I got on marketing. This has been an episode of Drink Talk. We've been talking with the fine folks here at Barley Boys Brewing and Brewery. Excuse me, Barley Boys Brewery. Let me get the name right there.
Thank you.
And Amy and Jason have been kind enough to host us here.
Thanks,
so thank
guys.
you
I
for,
appreciate it.
Yeah.
No,
Great
yeah.
beers,
Yeah.
by the way.
I-
Thank
these
you
are
very
great.
much.
In fact, I'm going to need another one here soon.
Yeah, we're going to continue on
Absolutely.
the after talk. But I think this is going to
Absolutely.
be the end for this actual podcast.
Post game
Well,
might go on a little
yeah.
longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out, guys. We really appreciate having
No,
you.
it was
and,
fun. It was easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Did that seem like 2 hours? Because it was almost two.
No, it really didn't.
It was almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, we're almost at 11:30.
Yeah,
Best
I
2
mean
hours
that's
of my
just
life.
what that's
you.
what good company does. And again,
Yeah.
to hang out with people that make you forget to check your phone.
And we were solving some problems.
And if
Forget
anybody
to talk, I'm talking in a microphone here.
Yeah.
if
Right.
anybody wants any beer from you guys, apparently come out, check them out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Check out the
the
brewery days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your
Come
brewery
out and,
days.
Yeah.
yeah,
sample some beers.
Sundays 11 to
I was going to say, is there a
3.
specific
Is it
day?
every
that you-
Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
Sunday, check it
that's
out.
That's what you're pointing out. All right,
Yeah.
So
Every-
yeah, go on to Facebook and like them. If you follow them, you'll actually get the notifications when they actually do their brew days. So yeah, check them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, this has been an episode of Drink Talk. My name's Brian.
I'm Britt.
Jason?
And Amy.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.
All right, that was good, guys.